want the D indeed. But give us 1 second, guys, because I got to introduce myself. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Jonathan. I am a man of movies, and welcome to episode 3 of season 2 of Shooting the Shit. Ladies and gentlemen, we are so happy to be here with you guys and so happy to have you. Let me put in my co-host.
Oh my gosh, John, I cannot explain how excited I was when I saw D up on that screen.
Ooh, bro, we all want that D, you know what I mean?
We do.
Hey, Shawn, I like how you're showing your guns a little bit, man.
A little bit.
Oh, bro, you could get my D. Never mind that. Hey, we got a couple people here. I want to introduce another member of the squad. We got Mr. Anthony from Fever, Dreamland Theater, Mr. Twilight Zone himself. Anthony, what's up, bro?
What's up, guys? Good to see you. I'm ready for the D.
Yeah.
Never thought I would see or hear Anthony say that in my life.
But here we are.
It's 2022, right?
Yep.
Guys, and I think this is the moment you've all been waiting for. You're probably asking, where's Dan? Where's Jace? They'll be here soon. Unfortunately, Joe won't be here today. Joe, we miss you. But it is time for the reveal of the guest that we've been wanting to have on for a very long time.
So
and it is
long.
finally time, ladies and gentlemen, because it is time for the Movieman! I don't have the app. D, what is up, man? Long time coming.
A long time coming, but hey, all in good time.
Absolutely.
So excited to be here.
Absolutely. So excited to talk films with you guys. Eventually get to our question of the day, which I hope can spark some debate, some discussion maybe. Who knows?
No doubt.
But guys, like you always, we got people in the chat waiting for us, but most importantly for the D.
Yes.
That's not gonna get old. We're gonna say that a lot during the stream. The D.
It's gonna be 4 to 5 hours of that. Just so
Yeah. Are you ready, D?
Are you ready for D? The D. Guys, we got Paul Tams.
Oh,
Hey, what's up, Paul?
Hey, what's up, Paul? He says, evening, my movie compadres. Just wanted to pop in and hope you have a great stream. Unfortunately, I can't watch live as up for work super early tomorrow. I'll catch the repeat, though. D, you the man. Oh, yeah. D is the man,
Thanks, Paul.
and he can.
Hey,
We got Schofield Studios here. It's
Schofield.
great. D, have you seen Thor: Love and Thunder yet, D?
I have.
Oh boy.
Because I must have missed I must have missed that review on your channel.
I'm slowly being persuaded to consider the idea of a review, so I may go for it.
Any
Do you
reason?
not want to do two negative Marvel reviews in a row? Just curious.
I'll just say it was an experience, and I wasn't 100% sure that everyone would welcome my thoughts, especially after the last Doctor Strange review. But people wanted it, so we'll see.
I feel like your thoughts on Multiverse of Men. I mean, that video was great. So I feel like you just have to keep up the MCU content.
Yeah, maybe so. I'll jump in there then.
I'm so curious now.
I'll go for it.
There's such a niche market to all this, and I think I don't know. Do you think the Marvel fandom is slowly getting toxic? Like, do you think if you're gonna put a video out, like they're just gonna pummel you to the ground? It's not like Star Wars.
Oh no, Star Wars takes the cake now and always. But I mean, if I get pummeled, I can take it, unlike a lot of people. So I mean, I'm not even really worried about that piece of it. It's just more so kind of the state of things, just what I would be contributing to the conversation. That's
Respect that answer, my friend. As Shawn leaves for some technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen.
Technical difficulties.
Oh no, wait, Anthony, I thought I put that up.
That's okay.
Damn it.
For the next go around.
Inside joke, guys. We'll get there. We'll
There's
get
a whole
there.
lot. This whole stream's about a lot about inside jokes.
We got the View with Drew. He says, "Hey, what's up? What's up, Drew? Hope you've been well." And then we got Eric Thorpe Reviews.
Eric.
Yo, Eric, man, he's the man, right? D's the man, but right next to D, we got Eric Thorpe Reviews. He says, "Okay, so I think it's pretty dope. We're shooting the shit today to celebrate the 10th anniversary of The Dark Knight Rises and the Dark Knight trilogy as a whole, with D stands for Dark Knight." Yes.
Very serious, John.
I didn't know until Eric posted it that today's the 10th anniversary of The Dark Knight Rises. Oh,
Do we have fans of The Dark Knight Rises in this chat currently?
yes. And I think
Cool.
Shawn is one, but he doesn't have his mic connected.
Yes. No. Yes.
I can't hear you. No, I can't. D, did you see The Dark Knight Rises in theaters?
I did actually. Yeah.
Ooh, I did not. Are you in the camp that it's weak or it's on par?
I think it's only personally. I feel like it's the perception of its weakness is only because it's held up against The Dark Knight. I think and I know it's difficult to look at it that way. I think in and of itself, I think it's a solid film. Although I do understand maybe some of the choices that were made with certain characters and the finale. Like, I understand that, but I feel like because it's held up against The Dark Knight specifically, for some people it just wasn't either they didn't feel like it was a solid enough follow-up or just closing out everything given what we saw before.
I personally never understood any sort of hate that The Dark Knight Rises got.
Neither do I.
And yeah, like, so for me, I think it's on par. It's definitely Dark Knight, right? Like, that takes the cake, the Dark Knight. But to like shit on it in the way like people like to shit on Return of the Jedi, and it's like, no, like, it's right on par. Just like I believe Return of the Jedi is right on par. So I never understood that. Say that again?
Yeah, I love Return of the Jedi.
Yes.
Actually.
It's my favorite Star Wars movie.
Yeah.
It's like one of the most fun ones, definitely.
Yeah, I love it.
I think at the very least.
Yeah. All right, here's Eric. Also, let's talk about those new Rings of Power and House of Dragon trailers, the latter of which dropped just today, and why House of the Dragon will be better to John and Shawn's chagrin.
Okay, first of all, I love that House of the Dragon spells out hot D.
Nice. Come on, that's perfect. I just love that he used the word chagrin.
Yes, that too.
Oh, me too.
I know. I was about to say charging.
You're charging.
Chagrin.
D, I can't believe that. I have not seen the trailer for House of the Dragon. No secret here. I have not seen 1 minute of Game of Thrones. I've never. I'm one of those people. I'm the 1% of the population of the world that has never seen Game of Thrones. And it's just because I never got to it. I'm not against it. Maybe one day I will. Just never really got to it. And House of Dragon, because of that reason, just does not interest me at all. So I'm all for Rings of Power. And I think Shawn is too.
I mean, I don't know. Like, okay, both of these trailers blew me away. But Rings of Power, I just am so impressed by how they have brought all of the illustrations from, I forget what the artist's name is, but like they have just brought the world to life. It looks like, and they've spent so much money, but it looks fantastic. And as for House of Dragon, that trailer sold me today. And also, I'm a huge Olivia Cook fan, so seeing her in the show, I'm just like, yes, like. I don't know. I'm excited for both. I can't believe that we're only like a month away from both of these now. So excited.
Anthony, have you seen Lord of the Rings?
Yeah, no, I'm a fan of those movies, and I just saw the House of the Dragon trailer like 2 seconds before this stream, and it's awesome. It's like I miss this world. That's what it feels like, and it feels like a nice return to that world. I know, John, maybe you won't relate to this as much, but it's like it's I don't know. It looked pretty good. I'm just hoping for the best with it. I'm hoping for the best with both things, obviously, with both properties.
Okay, what about you, D? Between Rings of Power and House of the Dragon, what are you choosing? If you had to.
Yeah, if I had to. The only reason I would say House of Dragon, besides the fact that I just saw the trailer not long before the live stream, because I think that this is kind of I hate to put it this way, but this is kind of the big redemption, considering how everything closed out and just the universal, outcry and frustration and controversy. So I think this is kind of the way to kind of enter back into that world without having to think about that and to kind of get away from all of that ugliness and the frustration of how it closed out. So for me, that's what I'm most excited about. And just it looks very gritty and very grounded. And it's just a lot of what I remember loving about Game of Thrones in the first place. Because it took me a minute to watch it because there was so much hoopla. And then just, of course, there are so many shows on all of these platforms that trying to figure out which one to start, first or next, or it's a lot. So yeah, definitely a House of the Dragon for me, but I am excited about the Rings of Power also. I love the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yeah. See, I think you caught something so true about the House of the Dragon trailer is the everything that you loved about Game of Thrones, they showed us like we're gonna give you more of that in House of the Dragon. And I think after the disappointment of that last season, like being back in this world and us being given those things that we fell in love with, it's just like it's reason to be excited for sure.
Absolutely, yeah.
I'm such an outlier here. I have no attachment to this series at all, and I feel I have FOMO to the extreme right now.
Oh.
Then watch Game of Thrones, John. What's stopping you?
Modern Family, man. It's 11 seasons.
Was not expecting that answer at all.
I wasn't either.
We got Florentina in the chat. Florentina. Hey, friends. Can't wait for this. I won't be very active in the chat because my phone is overheating in this ridiculous heat wave, but I'm here. I have been hearing that the UK is going through a heat wave, and Joe sent me the temperature, and I had to convert it to Fahrenheit, and it is literally a normal Florida day here. I'm sorry, you UK guys. It is a normal Florida day. D, where are you at exactly in the US?
I am up north.
Okay. So you know about heat.
Oh, absolutely.
What would you say about is 86 degrees Fahrenheit life changing?
No. Not for me.
Yeah, not for me either.
But then people would also say, because I'm from Chicago, that they probably couldn't deal with 20 degree, 10 degree, 0 and below, like negative degree temperatures. So I can see it from both sides, but a lot of people can't take it in the Windy City either. So
yeah, it's like what are you most used to? Like right in New York right now, it's like 90. That's killing me, but I feel like for Shawn, that's probably that's chill out weather, right? Like 90.
Do you guys want to know how hot it is right now in Fresno?
Is it 100 something? I'm gonna guess
113 degrees right now.
I couldn't. Yeah.
So Joe and Florentina, all you people in the UK complaining, come to Fresno, please.
That's why Shawn that's why Shawn has got the gun show out. That's what I was gonna say. Damn.
Let them know, Shawn.
Lisa Loves in the chat, guys.
Lisa!
What's up, Lisa?
We all love Lisa.
We do.
Hey everyone, I'll be on soon.
Get your ass on here, Dan.
Yeah, come on, Dan.
Like teasing us over here in the chat.
Oh no, what just happened? We got a Joan Venice here. Anybody know? A Joan Venice. Well,
yeah. Happy to see a new face though.
Happy to see a new face. Happy
Hey,
to have
Welcome,
you
John.
on. These face when you mentioned Thor.
The reaction.
It's
I have a
Gore.
very expressive face. It's hard to. It's
Love
hard
it.
to step away from that.
How did you feel about Gore, the child kidnapper?
The child kidnapper. I thought conceptually he was great, and I thought Christian Bale did an excellent job. But the problem is that whoever, I don't know who to blame specifically, or if it's just Taika Waititi or the powers that be, the higher ups. But to me, I just kind of feel like the juxtaposition of gore and everything else that's going on in the film and the tone of it, it's just like this is happening throughout. So that was kind of my issue, and I felt like he was underused. Like if he's going to be the villain, make him the villain, and like make him like a central focus.
Yeah, I totally agree. All the conflicting tones is one of my biggest issues with the film as well. And not to get too much into this, but we don't even see Gore kill gods, plural. Yeah.
Yes, there's just a montage at the beginning, and they're like, "Oh, he's done this and he's done this." You show, don't tell. That's like a huge rule when it comes to film and that media.
Pretty basic. Yeah. Wow.
My wife is in the
Princess!
Hey.
It is. How's little Francia?
Let's go back. She's doing great.
Yeah.
She is slowly just starting to become like a little person now, which is crazy. Yeah,
Shawn, I can't wait to meet her.
I know. Oh man, it's great. It's great. But we got Eric. He says, also, anyone else get the multiverse beta? I just got it downloaded. Can't wait to put Batman against Arya Stark.
That sounds interesting.
What is he talking about?
Multiverses. I guess it's some sort of platform where you can get popular characters to fight against each other, like in Injustice or Mortal Kombat.
That's what I'm guessing too.
Batman versus Arya Stark? That sounds awesome.
Eric, is there a James Bond?
Oh,
He would have written James Bond if there was a James Bond, that's for sure.
I'm curious. Yeah.
We got Drew with a comic book question here. He says, what movie representation of a comic book villain do you think is the worst? For me, it's what Batman and Robin did to Bane. Awful.
See, it's tough with those last two Batman Joel Schumacher movies. It's like,
yeah.
I mean, they went for camp. I mean, he went for camp. That's what he was going for. But that doesn't mean you have to like it. I mean, just because he's going for it. I mean, if I had to make a pick, I don't know. I mean, Mr. Freeze. I think
that was going to be my choice.
It feels like the obvious one because, I mean, that character in the comics was so. Well, fair enough. There's been different interpretations of him over the years, but that take on him, like, he's just an instant meme. It's just a joke. And I love Schwarzenegger. I'm a huge Schwarzenegger fan, but man, that kind of fell apart. That would be my pick. I think that's like the easiest one. First one that pops into my head.
Yeah, with the constant like ice jokes.
Yeah, with the puns and everything, right?
That's his personality.
I get what they were going for, and I'm actually a fan of the old school '60s show. You know, I love the old Batman, but I don't know. So I totally get what they were going for. It just didn't work for me in that case.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say I think a lot of people would choose Mr. Freeze.
Terrible.
That's all I was gonna say. What's up, D?
No, I was gonna say, as far as Freeze, like it's so hard with Batman and Robin because I have very specific memories of waking up on Christmas and getting the film, getting the snow Batmobile that they're on the ice at the end. Like, so it was like this big yay. But even I knew, and I had to have been about, was I 8, 9? I knew when I saw that opening scene where we started seeing like cheeks and close-ups of crotches, and even at that age, I was like, this feels uncomfortable. So I kind of knew from then on it wasn't going to. I just knew something was wrong. At least I did have fun with it then, but you definitely see the flaws and the issues as you get older. And as far as Freeze, it's just like it's sad because his arc is there's emotional depth there, but it's like they throw all that out to make him just like, a freeze is coming to Gotham. You know?
That was good.
No.
Not a fan of bat cheeks.
No.
Oh.
I'm not.
I guess my answer is not necessarily the worst, but I want to give a different answer here. It's definitely disappointing. Teetering on worst, teetering.
Mm.
It would be any of the incarnations of Victor Von Doom in the Fantastic Four films. I think what the character is in the comic books is beyond what the films were able to portray. And D, you said something with Freeze about how there's so much depth there that you could kind of pick around and tell a good story with. And I think the very same thing with Doctor Doom. Yet people don't really know that because what they got was a guy with electricity powers. He's so much more than that. He's so much more than that. And so he would be my choice. Any two of the iterations of Doctor Doom for Fantastic Four.
I have a couple.
Ooh.
I think and he was kind of redeemed in No Way Home, but Jamie Foxx is Electro in the second Amazing Spider-Man. Absolutely terrible. It was like almost on the level of Arnold Schwarzenegger in Batman and Robin. And then also to throw in an MCU villain, I thought Taskmaster in Black Widow was so horribly done, like just such a throwaway. And that could have been a really cool villain in that movie. So those are my two.
Good choices.
I would say just seeing the progression of the character and how it really got chopped and screwed into oblivion. I would say Mystique from the X-Men films, because I feel like her initial portrayal in the original trilogy, like there was something very, regardless of how you may feel about the body aspect of it, whether you feel that was sexualized or not, or whether you feel it was empowering. I feel like Rebecca Romijn's take on that character was just so kind of like, so, I don't know, like she was creepy and she was kind of, I don't know, she was creepy, she was cool, she could fight, she could, like, the way her voice would sound, and there was something so mysterious and, kind of, there were just so many, like, layers to that character, even though we didn't see her do a whole lot compared to other characters. But once we got into First Class and Days of Future Past and then Apocalypse and all that, they really ran that character into the ground. And it was clear Jennifer Lawrence didn't really give a you-know-what. So just seeing such a great character and the potential for really all the story arcs and everything that happens with that character. I don't know everything, but a lot of what I've seen as far as what Mystique experiences and her children and all of that, you just don't get any of that. And by the time we get to Dark Phoenix, I was genuinely relieved. I've never been more relieved to see a character die.
Yeah, Jennifer Lawrence, you can just tell that she was like, I don't want to be in this makeup, these prosthetics anymore. I don't want to be here. And then it felt like they were building up to something in Days of Future Past with that character. And then they just did nothing with it. Like that was so sad.
Yeah, when you start writing lines like, "Hey, maybe it looks like the men feel like they're the only ones doing anything around here. Like maybe we should change the team's name to X Women," and it's like that doesn't even make sense. Really? Is this what we're doing?
It almost feels like they have an idea of what they want to say. Put that line in there as a placeholder. And they were like, all right, so we're going to generally say something, a comment on this, but don't use this line because it's ridiculous. And then somebody was like, no, just say the line. We're shooting today. Just go with that line. I don't know. But I agree. Yeah, man, that fell apart.
Definitely.
Too bad.
Good choices all around.
Good question.
Eric's here saying The Dark Knight Rises is a masterpiece, just almost up there with The Dark Knight is in his opinion. I think The Dark Knight Rises, I might even have a better time with, to be honest, nowadays. It closes out the trilogy perfectly. Maybe my favorite ending to any film ever. Bold statement.
That is bold. I feel like the Talia Al Ghul thing, like that kind of ruins it from being great, but I do see what he's saying. Like, I probably enjoy Dark Knight Rises. Like, I think I've seen that one more than I have The Dark Knight, which is crazy because it's just more watchable, I guess you could say. It's not as like, oh, heavy. But yeah, that is a bold statement, Eric.
Eric is full of bold statements, I think.
Very true.
Just the boldness, Eric.
Of course. I'm gonna say it's everyone here, but Dark Knight Rises is very underrated. Some people bash it just because people say it's not as good as The Dark Knight, which is really silly. Yeah, something that Dee mentioned when we were talking about it a few minutes back. It's a lot of people compare it to The Dark Knight, and when it doesn't live up to that, it's automatically weak, which never made sense to me. I hate when that's a thing. Oh, it's not as good as this movie, so it's just not good in general.
Yeah.
F that. Come on now.
We fall into that trap a little bit sometimes. Like it wasn't good as the first one. It wasn't good as, I see where people are coming from with that. But
you kind of
it's not fair.
Yeah, it's not fair. You got to judge a film by its own merits. Always. No matter if it's connected to a universe or if it's connected to a trilogy of films, always judge that individual film by its own merit.
Yeah, you know we're to blame of doing that too, though. You know, like
that's what I'm saying. We all fall into that trap a little bit. It's hard not to. It really is. It really is. I should say.
Miss Cub. Hello all. Miss Cub, what is up? And we got Video Tasties in the chat, y'all. What up, Garrett? Man, what is going on with these comments today? It keeps going up and down.
What you doing, John?
Yo, Modern Family is not a good excuse. I don't know, man. I think it's a pretty good excuse.
It's a great show, but I mean, they're like 30-minute episodes, and it's not like serialized. You can just watch the episodes whenever, like throw in.
I am on a Modern Family high. I have to watch it like every day, like 10 episodes a day.
Oh my god.
Lisa here with a question, I believe. Have any of you got any stereotypical movie casting pet peeves? Mine is where the female love interest tends to be half the age of the male. Pizza.
It's like the one exception.
The one exception. Because I don't have an answer right off the bat, I'm going to go to special guest D. You got an answer to this, my friend?
Well, it's not surprising what I'm going to say because I've said this in a couple of videos, but I just think it's interesting. Sometimes this is not like every single time, but I do think it's interesting where dark skin representation is centered in certain roles compared to when I was growing up, and like. I'll just say, like, a point I made when I did my review for them, which I don't advise anyone to watch because it was a very intense, commentary I had there, and loaded commentary also. But I just thought it was interesting for me looking at the fact that this, very beautiful dark-skinned family, which I don't really see anymore at the forefront of these series, or films and leads, how they were the central part of this show. But then, like every single episode, the majority of the episode was them being brutalized and dehumanized and bloodied and bruised and bludgeoned and all of that. But the opportunity to have a story about that family looking the way they are, it's kind of like non-existent now. So for me, there is just I find that there are certain roles, those types, like when it comes to like colorism and skin tones and things like that. I see a lot of, or even interracial relationships and like certain things that are showcased within like romance versus other types of genres and things like that. And so that's something I'm not really a fan of.
Interesting.
Beyond interesting. I don't know how to go over that. That's a great answer.
It is a great answer. I know what you mean, like with them, and I feel bad. Like sometimes I think I should just take my review of them down.
Right.
But I'd only seen the first 2 episodes, so I was just reviewing the first 2 episodes, which are far tamer than the rest of the season is.
Oh,
But I do know what you're saying, and it's like I'm gonna throw it out like Antebellum as well, like to kind of. Have you seen Antebellum?
I haven't seen
Or
it either. Yeah, I haven't seen it either. But a lot of people trashed it for the same reasons that Dee was kind of mentioning there.
Yeah, is that kind of where you're going with that?
Yeah, I mean that's part of it too, and it's hard, and because that's such a kind of like it's such a layered topic, it's hard to kind of flesh all that out. It's just for me, I feel like even if I was it Deborah Ayarende who portrays the female lead in them. When I look at the types of roles she's been put in, at least 2 or 3 of the characters she's portrayed thus far have been killed or have died, quickly. And then here something that I can't really put into words happens and in one of these episodes. And for me, it was just kind of like, is it ever going to be possible just for her? Because she's a great actress and she's beautiful.
She is.
But I remember thinking, like, is it ever going to be possible for her to play a character where she is not connected to something that is either death related or something extremely traumatic and violent and horrendous? Like, I just remember thinking that as I was watching her in this. And she's talented, but I think a lot of times we see certain actors get othered. And I'm not saying it's just because of her skin tone, and you have dimension to that issue, but I see it, and that bothers me because you shouldn't pigeonhole anyone, especially when we have so many talented unknown people or people who are on the rise that deserve opportunities.
Absolutely.
Man, that's a great answer, and I don't think I'll top that with my answer per se, but it's around the same vein of while it's not necessarily on race, it is on body image, especially body image toward men. And I think this is something that many of us have probably seen, right? That almost every male cast in a movie is like chiseled, beautiful, right? Which is fine. But why is it in almost every film it's this beautiful chiseled man when men are just like women, right? Different shapes, different colors, different facial structures, and yet we always get this just tried and true copy and paste view, and I feel like it messes with many people's heads, and I'll say it even personally, being constantly thrown these pictures of guys in movies, or when I watch movies, and even as a teenager growing up with that and looking at myself in the mirror, I'm like, I don't look like them, and everyone expects me to. And it kind of just caused like a sort of body dysmorphia for me, knowing that I don't have to look like them, and I'm not half bad.
I was gonna say, John, every time I look at your picture on our thing, I'm like, wow, I wish I looked like that.
I appreciate that, my friend. I do, but I don't believe it sometimes because of what I'm constantly seeing is people that men, right, specifically, that don't look like me.
And I'm sure it's the same thing for women when, women see, super skinny, like petite, women up on screen. They're like, why do I look like that?
So the reason I mentioned men specifically is because, Shawn, for women, that's been a topic of discussion forever. And not to put that down, it's worth discussing for women. It's worth discussing. But I think it's also worth discussing when it comes to men as well.
Yeah. Absolutely.
So
I would agree with that.
That would be my pet peeve.
Yeah.
I was going to say the same thing as you, John. Basically the same thing, just real quick. It's not really a new thing. That's always been the case in Hollywood, right? Where it's all about the beautiful people. I do feel like there was an era in Hollywood, maybe like 70s-ish, where all of a sudden we were getting regular looking people in movies. That decade, I don't know what it is about that decade, but you got like the guy who just looks like your uncle, and you got the lady who just looks like your cousin, like whatever. Not to mean that your family isn't attractive looking.
A what?
What? But yeah, it's all about the beautiful people, isn't it? And it's a little bit disappointing. Like nobody. everybody has to be Jennifer Lawrence or Brad Pitt. Otherwise, nobody's paying attention. And yeah, I think women get it a lot worse than guys do. And I think they have historically. But yeah, so that I was gonna say that when you started saying, I was like, you took my answer. But that's all.
Great minds think alike, Anthony. D, I think you were about to say something.
Please go ahead.
Unless you lost that thought.
Oh, no. I was going to say that I can even relate to what you're saying, John, because a lot of it for me has been, and this is, I would say perceived masculinity. And that's because you grow up and you see this idealized version of masculinity, not even just the body piece, because that's one thing, but like what I was taught to think about sports or about eating steak or about having a voice that's this deep. I'm telling you, a big part of why I did not want to do YouTube for a long time is because of my voice. I thought it was too, what is the word? I'll just say that I didn't like it. And I wish that the pitch was better. I wish that I was able to kind of present myself a certain way. But that's kind of something I had to kind of shake off and kind of realize that you kind of, it takes time to realize it, but imagery is not reality. Yeah. And a lot of times, you think like, well, duh, but it's when certain things are when you're very, very young and you see imagery every day and you watch the television every single day of your life. And then it's hard to kind of get that out of your mind as far as presenting yourself this way or aspiring to present yourself this way. And what I've thought about, Shawn, because we both watched Young Royals, one thing that I really appreciated about that show, and this is not like in a shady or in a negative way, I'm not being funny when I say this, but they looked like regular, young adults. It's like they didn't have perfect skin or they didn't have the perfect hair and the perfect look. And I was like, these really look like, just regular teenagers. And like I said, but it's just like, wow, this is refreshing because this is not what we usually see.
Yeah, that was in my review. Like I was talking about, like, one of the reasons why I connected with it so much is you feel like you're watching normal kids. And I feel like even in like American shows, like, first of all, we choose to cast like 29-year-old like men as like 17-year-old dudes in high school, who have the perfect body, who are supposed to look this way. And you're constantly, when you're younger, looking like, why don't I look like that in high school? And it messes with your head. So yeah, Young Royals was so refreshing in that way, pimples and all.
Yes, exactly.
Good thing it was nominated for a rubber ducky.
Yeah.
Oh, snap. To kind of reel us back into like a more humorous shooting the shit vibe, I hate when movies cast douchey people like this guy.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah.
Hey.
What's up, Dan?
How are you, D? I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm good. How are you?
I was answering.
I thought he was answering his own question.
Right, I did too.
I was answering Anthony, and then
I got you.
Have you seen that video of the guy? He's in an interview and he sneezes and he goes, "Oh, bless you, thank you." Dan, happy to have you on, my friend. I wasn't sure if we got Dan or Dude Bro because of the hat.
No, I was swimming and my hair's a mess, so I just decided to put the hat on.
I like that.
Although you might see in the skit, Dude Bro's wearing the exact same outfit later. So.
Purely coincidental.
Right?
Yeah.
Dan, we sort of went through this, but if you have something off the dome that you want to mention here, Lisa's asking if we got any stereotypical movie casting pet peeves. Like, for example, when the female love interest is half the age of the male.
Oh,
I also have an answer for this too, whenever.
You can answer for Dan if he doesn't have one.
Shawn, you go.
Okay. And then maybe you can think of one, Dan. So mine kind of goes with Lisa's a little bit, but one thing that I think is really unfair in Hollywood is that so rarely do we get stories of people who are older, who are in their 50s or their 60s. And it's something that's I'm slowly starting to see a little bit more of, older people being cast, like Michelle Yeoh and or Yeoh in Everything Everywhere All at Once. It's like she's a badass 60-year-old who can, fight and do all of these things. Like that was so refreshing to me to see a woman of a certain age like play that role. But yeah, we just don't get to see very often stories of people who are a little bit older, and especially for women, it's like once you hit 40, it's like, oh, we're gonna cast you just as the grandma or the mom. We don't get their stories, and I feel like that's important. I always look back at the movie No Country for Old Men when I think about just Hollywood in general. Like Hollywood is like no industry for old men, or women, because once you turn a certain age, it's like we don't want to hear or see your stories anymore.
You're just typecasted the whole time.
Yeah.
And I was gonna say that was one thing I also appreciated about Good Luck to You, Leo Grand, because that was such a, like from the description, I just kind of figured, oh, it's Emma Thompson, and like this sounds like kind of like it'll be like funny. Like I don't know, I didn't really have any expectation, but just the premise sounded interesting, and I was so surprised by how in depth it went as far as fleshing, this character out and what her experiences have been and her being at this point in her life. And I think a lot of people who are older, can just at any point in life, but definitely once you get older and you realize and you look at your life and realize some of the things you missed out on, or the experiences you have not had, or just all these other layers to it. I think that's a really awesome perspective to have, and I think that's part of what makes that film so great. And it's even weird to look at shows like Golden Girls. I grew up watching that show, and to me it was just funny, and I would go and watch it because when Are You Afraid of the Dark would get too intense, I would go run to the other part of the apartment in the living room and watch Golden Girls because it reminded me of my grandmother's, and I would feel at ease and at peace. But then watching it as an adult, I was like, oh my gosh, like this was so ahead of its time. And like, it's showing all these like, these women that we see as grandmas and all that, like having these very frank discussions and relationships and dynamics. So yeah, there's definitely something about it there.
Some great examples, D. Everyone needs to watch Good Luck to You, Leo Grand. That movie is so good.
Yeah.
On the same vein.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
No, John.
Of sexy grandmas.
Oh. Hey, sexy grandma.
Yeah.
Somebody order a sexy grandma. Going on, everybody?
Burja, Rocar
over here.
Jace, how was Arby's?
Oh man, it was great. I think the key is you got to just twerk as fast as you can, ideally before they start running out after you.
Yeah,
because then you got enough of a head start to get out of there. So made it away this time. Made it away. D, what's going on, man? It's so good to see you here.
What's going on, man? Good to see you.
This is phenomenal. Out of all the guests that I could ask to have to start off season 2, I'm not sure if I could ask for a better one. This is great. And I say that with all due respect to any other potential guests, of course. But I mean, got some big shoes to fill if you're gonna try and top D.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You got.
Also,
it's not the. You know what they say about big shoes.
Oh, God.
You know
what do they say, John? Fill us in.
Big socks.
That's right. And
that's what they say.
You know what big socks mean?
Let's move on. Jace.
Yes, suspect.
Yes.
Indeed.
I will neither confirm nor deny that.
Hey, Lisa's here saying that there's no AC in the UK.
Oh, God.
Wait, what?
I think that's what she's saying.
Aircon.
There's no AC?
Guys, how do you pronounce this name?
Daenerys Targaryen.
That is
Okay.
funny.
It's a Game of Thrones thing, John.
Right. That's why it's funny.
Also, hi, Khaleesi.
Yeah, but John, we're Star Wars fans. We should be used to like weird names still, right?
yeah, for
Exactly.
sure. Let's see. Do we have any other questions? No, just comments. That's cool. That's cool. We got Eric who says, to be fair, John can probably watch House of the Dragon before Game of Thrones if he wanted to. It's a prequel, and I don't expect it to be presented even in a way where characters from Game of Thrones are telling it to us. I know it's a prequel. The only thing is, man, like it sucks that I'm not gonna be with the hype if something like, oh, that was in Game of Thrones, this character or that event or that thing is from Game of Thrones, and people start hyping it like as a Star Wars fans when you're watching Mandalorian or Obi-Wan, and that little thing, just a little thing, we're like, oh snap, yo, that's that thing from that one movie and that one time.
That all takes place after. Like anything that would have happened in Game of Thrones, there's no way they could even refer to it in the show.
But
John,
what I'm saying is,
you're just spewing excuses right now, is what I'm hearing.
no excuses. I'm not gonna watch it right now. So
I'm not gonna watch it at all.
No, at least not now, man.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
You're killing me.
Stop it. Get some help.
Yes, yes.
Come on,
Get
some Game of Thrones and House of Dragon in your life.
Yes, yes.
You know what, man?
For the love of YouTube, come on.
I'm just gonna pull this card out.
I like
Only
that.
if you say it in Shrek's voice, then I will allow it.
When you have nothing to say.
I can't do it. I can't do it. You do it, Jace.
Oh, man, you got me so excited there.
Jace, you do it.
Jace, you do it.
Actually, I don't think I'm good at that accent in particular either. Especially just that one word. Yeah, I don't know. That's a tough one. He has, yeah, exactly. That specific accent, I'm not always good with when I want to be. That's probably one of the few ones that when I try it, I end up sounding like really stupid.
I may be using the accent next week in a skit, maybe.
Shrek's accent?
Maybe.
All right, we got Florentina. She says we only get hot weather for a few weeks every year, so the country isn't built for major heat. And the UK heat just feels different to anywhere else. We're melting. Yeah, maybe. I'll take your word for it.
Does it feel different, Florentina? Where else you been?
I was gonna ask the same thing. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'll take your word for it, Florentina. But we got Eric that says, so anyone else picturing the Jon Snow sequel series starting out the way Love and Thunder did, with the montage of what Jon's gone through, comedically told by Tormund to the wildling children?
Yo, I wish we could have zoomed in on D's reaction as soon as you started reading that comment.
D, what do you think?
It would be a choice.
I sure hope so.
And I just thought that the one like non-Game of Thrones fan had to read that question, and I'm sure it just reads like you're like a whole different language.
Yeah.
Did I say it right, Tormund?
Yep.
Yeah.
Tormund would be the one to do it if they did do that.
Yeah.
Hey,
welcome back.
I feel so left out here. Hey guys, we got Miss Cobbs. He says Multiverses is basically Smash Bros, but with Warner Bros characters. Jace, you're nodding your head. You knew about this and didn't tell us?
You never asked about it. But yeah, dude, I knew about this game for a while now, and it's that's the perfect way to describe it. Like, imagine the exact format of Super Smash Bros. Everything down to a T. Like the way I guess 2D fighting aspect of it, being on different stages and platforms, and everything like that. And exactly, it's just all Warner Brothers characters. Looks really unique, and it's apparently it's free, which I thought was crazy. So
is it on like a Xbox, on the Xbox, or is it on the computer? Or
from what I understand, it's all like available for all the major platforms. So PC, PlayStation, Xbox.
Oh,
that's awesome.
What the heck? Yeah, I never knew that.
Oh, Eric's upset. No James Bond.
Oh,
don't worry, he'll be in the next Mortal Kombat or something.
We got Katie in the chat.
Katie.
Hey. She's at work, just popping by to say hi. What's up, Katie?
Aw, Katie.
Hey, y'all, we got I Am RT Reviews. Lost track of time. And was late to the stream. Hello, people. What's up, RT? What is up? Hello there. This is to the worst villains comment. Is no one gonna say Jared Leto as the Joker? D, what are your thoughts on Jared Leto as the Joker?
That's a good question.
Again, I think this is I don't know. This is a twofold issue because you already had the last representation of the Joker, if we're counting films, is Heath Ledger. So that already has been immortalized, you know, and so it's hard to then have the next take on the Joker be this very, I don't even know what the word is, but this kind of cartoonish gangster-esque tattoos and grill and you know, I kind of get why people didn't take to it. Me personally, I didn't have as huge an issue as everyone else did. I just think that the characterization was off and the way he was structured within the film was kind of pointless, especially when I think about all the weird things Jared Leto did off, you know, behind the scenes. It was like you did all of that for this. So my thing is, if you're going to have the character, have it mean something. So to me, the way they conceived the character was not thought through. I'll just say that.
Yeah.
The whole movie was not thought through.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, but I agree. He's absolutely kind of a spitting definition of like you could have removed his character entirely, and that movie would have been no different.
Yeah.
No, right.
Yeah, totally agree. Totally agree.
Agreed.
Eric Thorpe says, I mean, yeah, other than McAvoy and Fassbender, none of the new Gen X-Men cast touched the OG trilogy cast. Yeah.
The only one I would say, Evan Peters is Quicksilver. I think he made a real mark, and he was the only one.
Well, actually, Beast was really good too.
Nicholas Hoult was really good too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. Nicholas Hoult, McAvoy, Fassbender, Evan Peters is great. I loved Evan Peters in the newer X-Men films, but he's not part of the OG.
Right.
So there's not even a fair comparison there, really. So
yeah. The only fair comparison would be to the MCU then, when it comes to that. Boner. We all remembered.
Don't talk about it.
Rest in peace,
find it
Ralph
funny that
Boner.
The only other Quicksilver to compare him to is Aaron Taylor Johnson's Quicksilver, and I love the fact that when you backtrack, the two of them starred in Kick-Ass together. They were best friends in that movie.
Yeah, I forgot.
And I just thought right now they cool. So then future roads lead them to both playing the same character in different universes.
Well, that's why in the Halloween episode of WandaVision, she says Kick-Ass. Like Wanda says Kick-Ass to Evan Peters. Yeah.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
No, it's not.
He's like, it's gonna be Kick-Ass or something, or go Kick-Ass. And then he runs away, and she's like, Kick-Ass.
Oh, okay. Nice.
Wait, for real? I don't remember that.
Yeah. I don't remember that, but that's a cool little Easter egg.
Thankfully, I got breakdown reviews on my channel.
Oh, nice plug, Jace.
What do I do?
Oh, was that what that was? I'm sorry.
Another show that I'm not in tune with is Westworld.
Yeah.
Eric is saying it's really good again.
Oh, awesome.
That's what I have a couple of friends at work who were just telling me, like, Shawn, like, go back to it. This new season is awesome. So I'm starting to come around to giving it another shot for sure.
Yeah, no, that's good to hear because I was kind of done with the show too, but now I'll give it a shot. That's great.
Yeah, I love the first season.
Yeah, I keep hearing the first season is like God tier.
I guess.
Yeah, but I never really got on board with Westworld. Anthony, you really liked it. Seeing this. I mean, do you think you're gonna get back into it at all?
No,
you're like a season behind, right?
No, I'm caught up. It's just
Okay.
this season started, and I was like, screw it. But now, like, I'm literally reading this now, and I'm like, I'm definitely curious because I'm all for a new show. Not that there aren't a million things floating around out there to watch, right? It's like, oh fuck. I wish it was bad. Now I won't have to worry. Now I have to check it out.
Yeah. Anthony, how do you feel about the second and third seasons? Are they worth me watching?
Second, yes. Third,
Okay.
It's like, I guess you sort of have to, because the show, I mean, it's not an anthology per se, right? So like you have to sort of follow the story. So I mean, to each his own. I'm sure that there's people who love the show all the way through, so it's possible, you'll like it all. I just wasn't a fan of the third, is where it fell off for me.
And that's what I heard. So yeah, that's
okay.
the one I was looking about.
We got Sin's Corner.
Sin.
Jason.
D, always great with the deep analysis.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
Right. D always taking it deep.
I knew
Like that.
D always taking it deep. You know what, Jace?
You suspect.
Yeah.
There's some double meaning I'm not aware of? I don't know.
All right. Lisa Loves here. She says, whoa. She says, it's interesting to see men feeling that way about male representation on screen. I agree. Women have been dealing with it for decades, and sadly, it's not going down the same route for men. Yeah, not to get too much back into it, but yeah, it's true. Women have been dealing it for decades, but again, it's as real an issue for men, and I think it's safe to say that it's been overlooked, especially with men. Right, you could feel the same about women, and it has been, right, for a very long time. It was, and still is to an extent, but it's still something very much overlooked for men. Jace, I don't know if maybe you were watching this at all. I'd like to get your takes on this, and right after this, we're gonna get to the question of the day. But because I answered Lisa's question about stereotypical movie casting choices, and I was talking about how every film has to cast a beautiful, chiseled man in the role, and how growing up with that kind of caused me to have a sort of body dysmorphia where I didn't look like that, and I was wrong for not looking like that. Just to put it in layman's terms, right? What are your just quick thoughts on that?
So I wouldn't say that I kind of interpreted it the same way growing up, as far as like that's what I need to look like and it's wrong if I don't. I just always kind of saw it as, if I wanted to be in movies, I should look like that, type of thing. And I think over time it lessened, because I started to notice more and more just regular looking people like getting better roles and everything, and it started to become a point where, thankfully, it seemed like more so your acting capabilities is what actually, got you parts, as opposed to anything else. And in that, I feel like, is unfortunately different nowadays. It's not that good actors don't get the right parts, but unfortunately, I don't even feel like that's what selects you for the role. A lot of times, it's much more, hey, you fit into this certain demographic, or this, right? You fit in the peg of this hole, right? So therefore, you are this role, you are this director, you are this writer now. And it's like, but am I good enough? Nah, forget about it. So that's bothersome, I feel like. As far as like the whole representation on screen and like the body types and everything, look, I don't think that there's anything wrong with movies and shows showcasing kind of what we would consider to be the pinnacle of what a human being could look like, if you will, right? The only thing that I get annoyed by is the double standards of when, for a while, it was like you could show a girl running in a bathing suit in slow motion, and it was like, totally acceptable. There's nothing wrong with it whatsoever. But the problem was they weren't doing the same for guys at the time. So it felt very one-sided, and therefore it felt in bad taste, or more poor taste than it really should, because it's not so much that showing that is bad. It's a one-sided thing. Well, now we have it where it is much more leaning in the opposite end, to the point where, like, Thor Love and Thunder, they had the whole part where, right, Zeus flicks his clothes off, which, no spoilers, it's in the freaking trailer, for crying out loud. But the whole point is, if that would have happened to Natalie Portman, like, in this day and age, it would have been a fucking catastrophe. You know what I mean? Like, and so that's where I find it to be weird that all of a sudden, like, with a little shift in times, now all of a sudden it's a double standard, but the other way around. It's like, why really? I don't find it to be a big deal. that you want to show off Chris Hemsworth and the fact that he put in mad fucking work to look at the way he does. He looks incredible there, right? There's no denying that. So fine, show it off. It's all good. I am not going to watch that and think like, uh-oh, I don't look like Chris Hemsworth. Is something wrong with? Am I doing something wrong? Should I be doing something different in my life? No, dude, that's Chris Hemsworth. That's a movie star. He put in a lot of work to play that particular role. The same way where if you want to show off in a respectable and it works and it makes sense way, why be so hesitant to do the same for a female if it fits what's going on, right? They can do the same thing where they put in a lot of hard work to make themselves in the physique that they are. And once again, it doesn't always have to be depicted or portrayed in some sort of like, perverted sexual way. It's something that kind of just ties into a lot of this stuff that we become accustomed to. It's not that weird, but it doesn't need to be a double standard. That's my biggest take on it.
I like your point on the double standard, and I think you're totally right about with Thor: Love and Thunder. I think if it was the other way around, it would have been very problematic. I just think it's the lack of like normal like people like being stars. You know what I mean? Like all we see on screen are the Chris Hemsworth and the Chris Evans, and those are the people that are getting the roles. So it's the lack of more normal people that like normal audiences can relate to. I think that is the problem, because we're only seeing the chiseled bods and the beautiful people, I guess you could say.
Okay, and I think more of them do for sure. There's no denying that there is a more heavy hand of what would be considered the better looking people, if you will. But I don't know. I stand the grounds kind of the fact that it's a much more, it's funny to use this word here, but like diversified crowd now more than ever, right? There are definitely a lot of people that happen to have like a pretty regular look. Like you can't tell me Seth Rogen, for example, is anything that's supposed to be like a chiseled god, but yet he's maybe not at this exact moment in time, but one of those where it was like getting around in movies for like a while. He was like one of the top movie stars. Paul Rudd is like another example where, don't get me wrong, like as far as I acknowledge, people think he's a decent looking guy, but he's also like a regular looking guy. Like I just feel like it's a lot of those where oh, come on. You can't tell me that Paul Rudd doesn't look like a regular average dude you run into a Walmart, John. Like that's
I want to go to your Walmart.
I love it.
Look, pre-Ant-Man, you can't sit there and again like try and tell me that again this is like, oh dude, he looks like a movie star. I feel like you could say about a lot of people. Fucking Steve Carell, I don't know, doesn't really like look like a typical, you know what I mean? Like and these are just the ones coming off the top of my head. If we really wanted to get into like specifics, we could probably point out a shit ton of people where it's like there's nothing like Greek goddess statue about them. They're just a regular person. But again, I do see the whole point here of the fact that yes, I think there's much more of what is the better looking person and everything. But I just feel like that also kind of fits with, I don't know, what the industry has kind of become over time. And I don't look at as much as everyone else seems to be at this moment, because I do see the other side of regular looking people being introduced here and there.
Yeah, I was going to ask, do you guys feel like it's gotten any better compared to what you saw when you were younger and the type of imagery compared to now?
Yeah, but that goes both ways. Yeah, for both men and women. Yeah.
I would say it's getting better. Yeah. There's still
bit.
like I mean, just because like, I don't know. I just feel like there's a ton more we can do.
Oh no, definitely. I was just wondering, like, because when I think about the type of images I saw when I was younger, I do see more than I did before, but it doesn't mean there's not room to still improve. Yeah, but I was just curious as far as like which type of people you guys recall seeing, and then the kind you see now. I was curious about.
Yeah.
Dan, I want to give you the opportunity to at least mention anything if you want.
I don't know. I don't. Maybe this is not trying to be funny, but maybe because I like it. So I don't. So I don't. I never.
You suspect.
I see what you mean. Like high schoolers in every CW show look like they're like models. But there are high schoolers in real life that look good. I don't know.
Oh my God.
That hit me like a second later. I was like, hey, wait a minute.
That is illegal.
Goodbye.
That was illegal.
Problematic.
No, like
We got to get to the question of the day. And Dan's out here talking. I got you. Come on, Dan.
all right, no, I don't know. I I don't know. I definitely don't notice it as much as you guys, I guess.
Ladies and gentlemen, Dan.
Oh my!
Oh, Dan.
We love you, Dan. I just want an excuse to use that.
I have a question. Dan, do you remember what you asked me about House of Gucci?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah.
Adam Driver's a. He's either, I think he's cute, but he's not a hot bean. I don't know.
He's unique looking.
Well, you haven't seen that deodorant commercial.
No, I guess I haven't.
Look, hey.
Wait, I want to know what this question was.
I asked him, what was the sex scene worth it or something like that.
What? You asked D that?
Because he had seen it, and I was like, well, is the sex scene really good? Because I heard it was really good.
Dan, are you sliding into people's DMs asking them about sex?
Oh my gosh, no.
No.
He's sliding into D's DMs.
No, I thought I meant because I heard it was funny, and I heard it was like a funny scene, so I wanted to was it worth it seeing the movie for?
That would have been his only incentive for seeing the film. We were talking about other things, so no.
His only incentive. Okay.
Yeah.
Guys, we are 8 minutes into the 1 hour mark. I think it's time for the question of the day. What do you think?
Yes.
But before that, I got to take this comment off. There we go. Let's get it. How much social commentary is too much when it comes to film? For the rewatch, we have not seen Nope. I believe no one here has seen Nope yet, correct?
Nope.
Nope.
That's what I wanted. So I'm not sure if Nope is going to have any sort of social commentary, though I will assume, considering it is Jordan Peele.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if I can kind of start us off here with my answer, I think when a film is a message before it is a story is when I think social commentary is too much within that film. And a great example, so let me give you two examples of a good and a bad. I think a good example is Get Out. I think there is a lot of social commentary in Get Out, yet it is a phenomenally made film first. And by the end of the film, you look at it as a whole and you start grabbing and picking and going, wait a second, this is kind of shining a light on this. Or it's talking about that. But in the end, it is just a masterful movie. But on the other side of the spectrum, you got Candyman 2020.
Oh my God, that was literally the first movie that came to mind.
I believe it's co-written by Jordan Peele, and that is a movie that wants to hit you over the head and wants to punch you square in the face with its social commentary before it focuses up its writing and its direction. And that is a movie where social commentary was a bit too much. It wanted to touch on police brutality. It wanted to touch on gentrification. Yeah, there you go. The gentrification. All these things before we got to the heart of what this franchise is known for, which is it's a horror movie, guys. And you can have these messages and you can paint these pictures, but there's better ways of doing it. So I think that's my overall answer of when social commentary is a bit too much, and I'd love to get a deep analysis from D.
Hit him deep, D.
Ooh. Okay.
Don't hold back.
So so Candyman was going to be mine as well, and I kind of delved into that in my review. And so for me, and also again, my review of them. And please, when I reference that review, please don't think I'm like screaming and hollering the entire time, because when I started to record that, that's what I thought was going to happen, but I was able to kind of walk myself back. But a lot of what I said, the reason I had a lot of issues with them is because I know my history. I understand the history of racism and slavery and post-slavery and the civil rights movement and all of that. I understand there are people who may not understand that and have that, clarity or understanding and don't really see it for what it is. And we even have, we see to where we even see in textbooks and lessons, and not the whole history isn't always shown. So I get that part. And I can say that them is very realistic in how it deals with those dynamics, shall we say. But where it went awry for me is that this Black family that you're focusing on, there's no catharsis, there's no nuance, there's no deeper insight, there is no deeper anything. What you're showcasing me is this is racism, this is the legacy, this is the experience, and this basically racist people do these things to this race of people. And the thing is, I'm well aware of that. And I've seen it throughout. It's history. I've seen it in movies. I've seen it in television. I've seen it in so many different facets, so many different mediums. So my thing is, if you are going to go there, what are you bringing new to the conversation? Yes. What are you teaching out? What deeper insight are you giving us? Because if you're not doing that, then you're kind of hitting the same thing over and over again. And my problem is, when I went through all of that, getting to the end of them, I felt nothing. I felt like my time had been wasted. And I felt like all these things had been thrown at me and heaped on me for me to react and feel angry. Yes, it is upsetting and it's angry and it's traumatizing. But what do we now take away from that? And so sometimes with me, with social commentary, there has to be a deeper understanding, or there has to be something, some kind of catharsis or something underneath it, because it makes it a very shallow experience. Like with Candyman, it's just this is an important subject, but what are we doing with this? And what are we supposed to walk away from this with? That's so often my issue.
Absolutely.
Wow. But phenomenal answer there, D, as always.
Damn, yeah, that was great. I was just kind of being, trying to put the pressure on him, hit him deep. And it was like, Jesus, all right, knock that out of the park.
Well said, man. Well said.
D mentions them. Shawn, I want to pass it to you. Of course, give your answer to the question of the day, but I also want to slide in a little bit of what about Us, the movie Us? Do you think the social commentary in that film is a bit too much? Because there's a divide within the film fan community with Us that some people believe that there is a little bit too much with Us.
I don't feel that. I've heard a lot of people say that about Us, and I think, and this is kind of where I was going to go with this question, is to me, it doesn't work when the messaging is so heavy-handed or so on the nose. And I feel like Us was definitely a little bit more on the nose than Get Out. It was a little bit less nuanced than in Get Out. But I didn't really have a huge problem with it where I did with Candyman. And I think Candyman is, and I know some people loved it, and I think there was some great things about that film. And I think, John, you might have mentioned direction. I actually think Nia DaCosta's direction is really, she obviously, I think, is a really great director, but it was the script for that movie that really bothered me, because it was hitting you over the face with what it was trying to say. A movie that kind of comes to mind with social commentary and has a lot of things that it's trying to say, like Candyman, I don't know if any of you have seen it, is a movie called His House on Netflix.
Oh,
has
anyone seen that movie?
I forget his name. Isn't it the guy from Luke Cage? Is it him?
No, I don't think so. I wasn't familiar with the two leads, but His House is a horror movie, very message based, and it has a lot about gentrification and things like that. That Candyman was trying to do, but it did it in a way that was so exciting and so different and really terrifying. And so when I saw Candyman, I was just like, the whole time I was like, His House did it so much better. And the last thing I'll say is I just came out with a review on my channel for this movie, Not Okay. And it is a message movie about influencer culture and about violence in America and chastising victims. It has a lot to say, but I'm going to go back to what Dee was saying about, having deep insight and, actually doing something and saying something different with it. And this movie, Not Okay, it had a lot of fantastic ideas, but it didn't have any further deep insight that I hadn't heard before. So I think, to me, when it's too much social commentary is just when it's too heavy-handed. So I think that's my answer.
Shawn, would you think another good example of that would be that movie with Andrew Garfield about influencers that you said you did not like?
Mainstream. Yes, Mainstream is another really good example of just being way too obvious. We've already heard, influencers are bad, and all of these things. We've heard this, we've seen this, we know this. Like, say something different with it. Mainstream's a great example. Terrible movie.
Dan, your take on the question of the day.
So it's rare for me to, I think, notice social commentary. I think, like Us, I might watch Us again tonight or tomorrow, but I don't remember what the social commentary would have been in there.
Well, is there maybe a specific example, Dan, where you kind of pointed out the social commentary and saw it and said, that's too much?
Black Christmas 2019.
Ooh, okay. Okay, good choice.
That's a good example.
That was way too much. That was like one of the only times, that was like Me Too, the movie almost, it was just way too much. Every guy is bad except for that one guy. But like every male character is bad, a villain, and I didn't like that.
What exactly was it about Black Christmas that you thought did not work?
I think just because every male character was bad. Every frat guy is not the exact same. Frat guys maybe, but not really, but like every college guy is not the same exact person that's gonna, do bad things. And I don't know. And not every girl is good.
Yeah, that movie had a message, and it went nowhere with it. And it was so obvious in the way it was trying to share its message. Like you said, like every guy in the movie is just bad. And so that means all men are bad. That's what it's just terrible movie again.
A good example from Dan. I want to pass it over to Anthony, what he thinks about all this.
God, this is where being live is rough for me, because normally I would ramble about this endlessly, but that would be scripted. So now I'm just going to spit out a bunch of gibberish and hopefully something makes sense. Well, just to bounce off what Dee said, yes, if you're going to have social commentary in your film, awesome. But there needs to be substance there, at least for me. And I think first and foremost, like maybe some solutions might be good for once, as opposed to just pointing out, hey, look, this is bad. Hey, look, this is shitty. Hey, like maybe some kind of solutions. But then again, don't hold our hands and like just, if you're gonna put it out there and let people dissect it for themselves. Let people sort of reflect on what you're trying to say and what the message is. But another thing is, this really comes down to the person, because you take one movie that's supposedly loaded up with social commentary, and if someone happens to not be socially conscious, then it's going to go over their head. Okay, so that's that. Fair enough. But then for other people, if you have if you're maybe overly sensitive to that, and maybe you lean a little too left or you lean a little too right, then you're going to see a a touch of social commentary and you're going to be triggered, and it's going to be like, oh my God, social commentary, get it the fuck out of here. And I don't know how much of that is just because it's something you happen to disagree with. Okay, well, like not everybody's going to agree with you politically or socially, and just because it's there doesn't make it automatically bad. Maybe it's just because you disagree with it, and that's your deeper problem with it.
Nice.
Yeah, like in Lightyear, they had the lesbian kiss that was like 1 second, and
Okay.
people were triggered about it.
So if you're someone that has an issue with that, it's automatically bad just because it's there. I mean, I have a little bit of a problem. I feel like that comes down to the person, and then some people are indifferent either way. And like I said, some people just maybe they don't have an opinion one way or the other, and I think that's okay too. I mean, we're all different. We all come from different places. But yeah, I think Dee said it best, and the other guys too. I think we're all sort of on the same page with this. That there should be some substance there, and it should really have. And if you're gonna have something to say, then say it. But please do it well, execute it properly. Yeah, it doesn't need to be hammered into us. You know, I'm a huge Twilight Zone geek, obviously, and Rod Serling was like a master at putting the social commentary in there. And this was in a time in the 60s when America was a mess. Not like nowadays when we're awesome. But so hashtag sarcasm. But but I think that one of the reasons why those old shows still appeal to people is that he was able to do it in such an intelligent way, and and there was so much passion there. But he was able to get the social commentary out there. But it wasn't. I don't. At least to me, I don't think it was. He was drilling it into people's heads. He would present it. He would present it in a unique way, you know, with sci-fi and aliens and stuff like that. But there was definitely something to say, and at least back then it was a little more original because nobody was going there. So that's my thoughts on that. I'm gonna shut up because I'll ramble endlessly on this topic.
I like it, dude. Unique, unique take. And it got me thinking a little bit, Anthony, when you mentioned Twilight Zone, because maybe I'm alone here when I think this, but I feel like films from back in the day when they had something to say, let's just say social commentary, it wasn't out there. It would be like it'd be like a floating piece of toilet paper, and it'd be like, wow, I can't believe they talked about about gender. Like, what? It's just a floating piece of toilet paper. But people, you know, these artsy fartsy type films, you dissect them. And I think where we're at now is where we're getting told what the meaning is.
Mm-hmm.
And now a lot of people are like either getting offended by it, they're indifferent by it, but it's no longer us sitting down discussing, actually, this means this. Well, actually, I found that what that meant, we don't have that discussion anymore because it's pretty clear to see. It's pretty clear to see what the message is all along. And it's no longer a discussion about what we think it means, but it's an argument on what we thought about it.
Yeah, it's like if it could remain civil, if we could keep maintain a civil dialogue, that would be awesome. But it feels like it doesn't happen. It certainly doesn't happen on Twitter or any sort of social media. It's like, oh, this movie or this TV show is saying this. Let's fucking scream about it and argue with each other and kill each other, and as opposed to just talking like human beings and trying to resolve some issues. All right, I'll shut up and I'll.
Jace, I want to pass it over. Jace, I want to pass it over to you, and I want to ask you why you think "Don't Look Up" is the greatest example of good social commentary.
So actually, you know, I gotta take it a step back here. I actually think that the lesbian kiss scene in Buzz Lightyear is taking it way too far, and anybody that doesn't look at it that way is completely wrong. No, I'm just... no, obviously, I still haven't even seen Lightyear, so and I already can tell you I don't have an issue with that scene. I wanted to kind of jump off. So Anthony, you were saying like a bunch of stuff that I couldn't help but piggyback off of. Like one thing that you threw out, man, when you mentioned about like introducing solutions instead of just simply pointing out the problem, I think has got to be one of the best comments of the entirety of this conversation. And the reason I laughed, I apologies because it was like a weird, awkward moment. But the reason I like cracked up when you said that to myself was because in the first example that came to my mind was in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the very last episode where we finally get Sam as Captain America for the first time. And he has his first ever Captain America speech. And he's standing there in a bunch of front of these senators and politicians, whatever the case is. And he's like telling them what they need to do. And they're legitimately asking like, well, what makes you think we can do this? Like, it's not that easy. And he literally just like points in their face and he's like, you've got to do better, Senator. And that's it, right? Like, it's okay to point out all the stuff that you just did, right? Let's shine the light on how nice it is to have people in these roles that we do now, and right, all this different. It's great. It is. It's great. But then all of a sudden, when you point these issues out in the most immature and childish manner that you possibly can, you present a solution as, no, you do better. Okay, I'm gonna go fly away now. That is like not how this works at all, right? And so again, yeah, I agree that it will basically, to echo what everyone's saying, if you're gonna have it in there, couple of things. Number one, execute it well, right? Have it actually also do something with the fucking story, for crying out loud. Like, if it has nothing to do with what's going on, I don't need it to be there. I don't need to be introduced to different elements to mirror my own world, because otherwise what? I'm not going to enjoy the movie. I watch movies a lot of time to take me out of reality. And it's nice to somehow have that represented in movies every now and then. That's great. That totally is cool. I don't need every fucking piece of fictional work to show every aspect of what I experience in regular life. Right. So that's the part that also bothers me, is like, stop putting it in there for the sake of checking a box and being like, hey guys, we're doing good, right? Because we did all the things. We included all the things. Did you make a good story? Is it written well? Is it being directed well? Did you edit it well? Right? Like, oh my gosh, how is that not the main focus now anymore? Right? So it's just weird how it's got a scattered attention towards all this other stupid stuff that, right, we think that this is the most important thing, right? We're sitting here having a whole full-blown discussion about, like, well, is it too much? Should we have it in there? Dude, why is this even? We're talking about fucking movies and TV shows. And is it okay for that to be in there every now and again? Yeah, man. Just like with music, right? Like, is it okay for music to talk about actual serious topics and try to enlighten people on certain things? Yeah, damn right it is. And sometimes that makes some of the best music. Do I need every fucking song to do that? No, I don't. As a matter of fact, I don't want that to be the case, because then I can't enjoy music as much anymore. And that's what it feels like is going on with so much stuff now. Because again, they're not making good stuff for the sake of making good stuff. They're checking boxes, right? They're just trying to go ahead and make sure everybody's happy. And the problem is, when you try to make everyone happy, you're going to usually make like no one happy in the long run, right? So to kind of bring it back to this, and another point that Anthony was making when you were pointing out Twilight Zone, and the way that they were able to tackle this, right? Because when they introduced it, it wasn't so much, hey, look at this real world thing that we are putting into the show. It was, check out this really beautifully executed metaphor that when you happen to look deeper within it and read between the lines, so to speak, you can actually see there's a deeper meaning here. Yet, if you choose to just watch it as a show, it's just an interesting story. It just so happens to be a nice metaphor. That's great. I'm totally fine with that. Why can't there be more of that? Because to me, that shows true creativity and ingenuity on the writer's end. Right? When you can put it together in a way where an average audience member might be able to watch it and not even notice what you just did, that's when you did it well. Which most people go, no, I want people to know what I did. No. Not with this. You know what makes beautiful editing? When you can't even tell when the cuts are. When you've watched a whole scene that's been going back and forth between different characters, and you never would have been able to mention like when it happened. You're just like, oh my God, I got so sucked into the conversation. I just, right? Didn't even notice. That's what makes good editing. It's the same thing with storytelling. When you can put these messages into there without having to beat it over our head and shove it in our mouth and everything, that's what shows that you're actually doing it well. I don't want to give anybody credit for simply just like, but look, we did this though. We put this in here. Shouldn't you be happy that we finally put this in here? No, because you simply acted like putting it in there was good enough, and it's not. You need to do well, just like everybody else needs to, right? There's no special handouts here. You need to do it well if you're going to do it. End of rant.
Preach, Jace.
I think this is Jace.
Oh, man.
Very well said, all six of us. Very well said. I'm gonna skip a good chunk of the comics just real quick, just to touch on the social commentary question.
Yeah.
Since Corner is here, and she says that Candyman 2021 was pretty much ruined for me because of how terribly it bungled the social commentary.
Is that a word?
Bungled, absolutely. I love that word.
Bungle jungle.
What does that mean?
Bungled, like you fucked it up.
Yeah.
Yep, there it is.
Eric Thorpe says, I think the social commentary needs to enhance the storytelling ultimately.
Yeah.
I fall in that camp more than anything.
Yeah.
I will forgive heavy-handed social commentary within a phenomenal film.
Mm-hmm.
I would. Yeah.
Just like anything else, you might forgive a little some issues here and there because the movie itself is so awesome, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can't help but throw this in real quick. I googled bungled, and so after
What?
Oh my God.
Wait a minute,
I couldn't help it. I couldn't help it. No. So first of all, it's great because it means carried out clumsily or incompetently, which is right. So used very well there, and I love thank you for adding a new word to my vocabulary here. But I cracked up so hard because literally under people also ask. So like the immediate follow-up questions in Google, the first one is bungle the real word? Oh my gosh. Is bungle the real
You
word?
bungled that, Jace.
I was gonna say it.
Hey, but so stop playing that clip from when I was younger. You know how embarrassing that is for me.
We had another new word tonight, chagrin.
Chagrin.
Yeah, we got chagrin.
Well, at least it was not new, but it was. I feel like you don't hear it enough.
What do you guys feel about this? Eric says Black Panther, I know, gets some hate, but I think it also did it well. Do you? I don't really. Maybe like what are your D? What's your thoughts on the social commentary within Black Panther?
So there are a lot of people who say, and I won't say it's one particular group. It's just there are a lot of people who say that Black Panther only did well, I guess, overhyped because it involved Black people or it was a Black narrative. Now, me personally, I love seeing Black representation and Black storytelling. So I'm never going to be mad at that, of course. But for me personally, what worked, and it wouldn't have worked if this wasn't the case, but what actually worked for me, because I had certain expectations for Black Panther going in. I always try to balance them out. I give myself room for disappointment always. And a lot of what worked for me with Black Panther is that I felt like there was a lot of emotional depth that I didn't expect. There was a lot of, like, even like with Killmonger, with T'Challa, with like scenes where T'Challa has to confront his ancestors and the reality of what they actually did. Like there's a lot of layers there that went beyond just kind of the superhero piece of it. And that worked for me. The idea of becoming king and trying to decide what that looks like. What does that mean? Reconnecting, do you decide, do you reconnect to the community or do you not? What changes do you want to make? What type of person do you want to be? What kind of change do you want to bring forth in this world? And so when I looked at all those pieces, that's where it came together for me. It didn't feel like there was necessarily, I mean, I could think of a couple of things that were intentional, but it didn't feel heavy-handed to me. And ultimately, regardless of maybe some flaws, because it's not a flawless film, it was something that worked for me on those levels. But you also will have people who will kind of brush past a lot of that and relegate it to, oh, you only like this because, when for me, that's not the truth. And of course, it's a stereotype, but oh well.
Yeah, it's been a thing lately, right? When you add any sort of representation, it's just woke.
Oh, that word.
And it's also, if you don't like it. No, right? So there's that. And then it's immediately, if you don't like something that has representation, it's just like, oh, you're racist.
Yeah,
didn't realize that's how easy it was.
Yeah. There's layers to everything. And I would never assume, because that's what I'm saying. There are too many that eliminates so many perspectives. If I were to personally just say like, oh, the only reason you don't like Black Panther, there are plenty of reasons. I even said this actually, and this was a very helpful thing for me. I wrote a review on Black Panther, this was years ago, not long after it came out. And so a lot of people agreed and commented on it. And then one of my friends said like, really? Maybe I'm just not seeing what everyone else is seeing. And so what I told them was like, I actually disagree with that. I think that the fact that you feel that way is important, and I feel like you should value your own opinion, even when it doesn't, line up with the majority. And I kind of said that not thinking about it, but I don't think I'd ever looked at it that way personally. But it was an important moment, and she appreciated it after the fact. But understand that there's more to perspectives of how people feel about film or anything. And it's not just, oh, you don't like this because of this. Because she actually felt bad about it. It's like, you don't have to feel bad about your own opinion. That's your experience. Yeah. That's all you can, have.
Yeah.
Man, D out here preaching. Yeah, I'm about to say.
Yeah, we about to rename this stream Shooting the Preach?
or
preaching the shit?
Wait, let's wait, I'm sorry, real quick. I gotta give you that, man, because
Hey, I'm gonna say I like preaching the shit.
There goes the mystery sound.
Yeah, Anthony, I know.
Oh, wait, is that what that sound was from earlier? There was a point where D was answering a question, and all of a sudden we just heard like a psst.
Yeah, what was that?
Yeah, I don't know.
It sounded like the end of that sound effect that just played.
Maybe it is something at the end of the audio.
Shawn, you were gonna say something real quick?
Oh, I was just gonna piggyback off of what D was saying. There is a movie that's coming out called Anything's Possible. It's directed by Billy Porter. It's coming out next week, I think. And spoiler alert, I didn't really like it very much, but it's one of the first transgender romantic mainstream movies to come out. And I really wanted to like it. And when I was writing my review for it, I just kept thinking, I didn't really like this movie, but am I going to get shit for it because of the subject matter and what it's covering, and I'm not taking away from the importance of the film and that representation should be there. But at the end of the day, the movie's not great. And that's my opinion. And I hope no one, makes me feel that I didn't like it because of a certain reason, So I think what D just said about his friend not liking Black Panther and him kind of saying that's okay, I think that was really important. And we need to value our opinions more and not just say, you think this because of that reason,
It's a shame that it's sort of a minefield, isn't it? Where you're afraid to give an honest opinion when you shouldn't be. But you don't want to start getting death threats and everything online because you said you didn't like a thing. It's ridiculous.
Well, but it's also it's amazing how the golden rule of humanity has been kind of thrown out the window, right? Just treat people the way you want to be treated, right? You would never want someone to talk to you in that specific way. So the fact that people have these crazy outlandish opinions that they'll throw out at others, you don't like this because, right? So for Shawn, for your sake, oh, what do you have against transgender people? It's what on earth does that have to do with me not liking a movie? Right?
Exactly.
Right? It's just that those are two completely separate entities. And the funny thing is when you break it down, it's would you be okay with me just assuming that you don't like something because of a certain reason? And that's it. You're not allowed to speak for yourself. I already know that's why you don't like this.
It's
that's just such a
it's
immature. It's just it is literally on one of the most childish response levels I can possibly think of, right? That's what a kid would do, right? Yeah. You say this, a kid makes something, right? Let's say a kid makes a drawing and you're I don't like the drawing or whatever. And it's you just don't like it. You don't like this because you don't like the colors or something. And no, dude, it's just not a good drawing. I don't know what to tell you, right? Maybe go back and maybe keep drawing and then come back to me when you've actually got something better. And I know that's a harsh example because it's a child drawing, but you know what I mean? It's the same logic though, as far as you're responding like a kid, right? It's oh, you don't like this because of this, and that's that. And it's who are you to tell me that? Who are you to and that's it? Can I just go ahead and talk about whatever you think and just say it and now it's a fact? Is that how this works?
I'm just thinking of Jace as a father.
I know, don't have children, Jace.
Hey, JC Jr., what do you got there for me? I painted you a picture, Dad. Wow, this is shit. Wow. Hey, don't cry.
Right.
It's my opinion.
No, dude, right? Don't cry. It's just, but it's shit. So go back and make it better. Okay? No,
He's sticking with it. He's sticking with it.
I love it.
nah, man, nah.
I want to get through some of the social commentary comments out of the way, so then we can get straight to shooting the skit.
Yes.
Lisa says, I couldn't agree more about them, D. I had to stop watching. It made me deeply uncomfortable and angry, but I didn't feel there was any lesson or benefit from watching it.
None.
Yep.
Something that I keep on hearing.
The whole thing, going back to what Anthony said, like there's no solution. It just showed violence and torture for the sake of it rather than having any sort of solution or something to get from it.
Yeah.
So this is something that I think me and Shawn may disagree with, but since Corner says Promising Young Woman 2, that one really annoyed me with its over-the-top misandrous messaging.
Probably misogynist.
Misogynistic, maybe, or maybe
That's an actual word.
that's the noise again.
Yeah, what is that?
What is that noise?
Yeah.
Somebody has a Coke bottle and they're just opening it up and closing it. Dan. I'll be honest, and Promising Young Woman was my second favorite movie of 2020. There is depth. So you know what? That's actually a really good example of what I mentioned a few minutes ago about how I would forgive on the nose social commentary within a great film, because I can agree. I think that the social commentary within Promising Young Woman was forefront.
Yeah.
But I thought the movie was miles ahead better than that, and I enjoyed it. And
I still think the storytelling was there. There was a great story there. There was a really interesting, it was a very interesting character study. So there was a lot more than just the social commentary in that film. But I will say it is a little bit on the heavy-handed side.
Yeah.
I was going to say misandrous is basically a strong prejudice or dislike when it comes to men. So that was more so what that meant. For me, like it's the same thing with me, Shawn. Like I see the concept, I see the story, I can see all the depth to where they were trying to go with that. But I just remember it left such a bad taste in my mouth once they have that, I guess, twist at the end. And I kind of walked away from that kind of like, and I don't necessarily have to walk away from a film feeling happy-go-lucky all the time, because that's not reality. But I was very on the fence as far as like, were you successful in executing this, or did you kind of like go overboard and kind of get lost in the sauce as far as what you were trying to execute with the message? Yeah,
I totally understand. Like, I have friends who watched that movie and hated it, and I understand where everyone's opinions come from with that film, whether they loved it or hated it. But personally, I think the end is brilliant. I love how it comes together, but I do understand why some people might be like, "Whoa, you took that in a direction that it shouldn't have gone."
So I think this has been a fruitful discussion, and I can't wait to see the short version of it when we put it up on the channel. I loved it. I love the discussion we had here, man.
Yes.
Guys, we're moving into one of our favorite times of the stream. It's shooting the skit time, but I kind of want to wait for Jace. I don't know what he's doing.
I broke the seal. I'll be right back.
Oh, clean your room, Jace.
No. Yeah, I got it.
Jace, did you see Promising Young Woman?
He didn't even hear you.
Jace, did you see Promising?
I heard. No, I did not.
Okay. Did you get letterboxed?
Yes. Sure.
Jace, you got to get letterboxed.
Okay. Right now. Yep, right now.
Everybody just wait.
You don't have to. I just did. While we were over here, did it. Got it. Wrote my first review too.
Jace, why are you so against it?
So
I'm not. I'm just so fucking lazy, Dan.
Are you watching Nope this weekend, Jace?
I will gladly watch it. It's one of those I say that where I don't have any current plans. Like, it's not like it's been plotted out already, but I'm totally down. I want to see it.
I'm seeing it Friday, John.
What do we think will be the social commentary within Nope?
That aliens are actually white people trying to ruin the world.
D, what do you think about that?
What do you mean, John?
Wait, are they like that on purpose? What's going on? What happened to John? Did he get abducted?
It was kind of perfect. I think he clicked that. Oh, there he goes.
I'm gonna pull up the Shrek card for that, D.
Shrek card. That is.
Oh, wrong card. Wrong card. Wrong card. That was the wrong card. That was a wrong card. That was a wrong card.
That was the demonetized card.
Hey, now that everybody's here, I think it's time for You Know It, You Love It, Shooting the Skit, baby! Today's skit is brought to us by the Upside Down. Let's get it, guys.
Yo, what up, bruh? Have you ever wanted to create a whole new religion, right from scratch, about, on, and worshiping your favorite movie? Well, bruh, that dream can be realer than reality, because I'm coming to you to promote a new religion of sorts. It's a religion on my favorite movie of all time. A lot of people would say like something like Jurassic Park is good, Shawshank Redemption, Forrest Gump. Well, I say run from those movies, because my favorite movie has got to be this year's Morbius, brah, is amazing. Have you ever wanted a religion based off Morbius? A Morbin time religion where we morb all over the place. We're on our knees morbin, for oh holy thou art. Morbius. Nasa Morbius, abadi dabada. Oh gaga, morba. Oh ah, bra, ba ba bra, ba ba bra. Hallelujah. 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 But I gotta tell you, I'm so excited that this is officially a religion in my heart and in my mind and in my mouth, because out of my mouth comes all the morb you could ever have. Morbius is a revelation. When it came back to theaters the second time, I didn't get a chance to see it again. I know I saw it so many times the first time. I dragged my best friend Jace into it a lot of times. He loves me enough to go see it again and 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 brah again and brah get this again and brah get this even again. I mean, come on, brah, again and 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 again. That many times, so many times, brah. I can't even count, brah. I did pass math, just so everyone knows. Put that on the record. This commercial is supposed to be for people that wanted to make a religion off their favorite film. Now it's turning into just me praising the best movie ever made. When it got re-released, I didn't get to go see it. So I started this petition online telling people that we were busy, Jason and I, we were busy that weekend and we couldn't go. They were signing it, brah. People seemed really into it. They were wearing suits. I mean, I wasn't the only one wearing a suit at a premiere one time, and it's awesome, brah. The petition became a joke, and I'm sorry, but does this movie look like a joke to you, brah? 103 minutes of pure perfection. 103 minutes, brah, of faith. 103 minutes that made me want to start my own religion. Dear brah, It's your bruh. I am here to initiate the religion, if you will. And if you won't, well, initiate it anyway. My parents saw the future. They knew I was gonna love this movie so much they gave me the same name as him, Michael. My best friend over here, my bruh, my homie, my dog for life, whatever you want to call someone that's a friend. He's come with me, you know, to help me with this video. And we have another man over here. He's a duck man, though. Bruh, he lost his faith, bruh. Bruh. He's a duck. He lost his faith. He didn't lose his faith so much as he hasn't had much to do. You know, since the first anal rubber duckies came and went, I mean, he's jive chilling, but he's looking for another purpose in life until the next rubber duckies. I know, you know, anal means that you do it once a year, I believe. And so he asked me, well, he didn't ask me. I overheard him talking to someone else that's more qualified in finding him a religion, but he didn't know that I was more qualified in finding him a religion. He asked me to, you know, he's looking for another purpose in life. I said, what about a religion? Morbius. Morbin time. It's Morbianity. He said for me he would give me a chance because he likes me, bruh. I mean, come on, look at me. I'm a likable guy. I talk likable. You know, man, I think let's cut this religion out. I think, you know, just wait. Maybe there'll be a sequel to Morbius. Wouldn't you love that? Then they have to keep you satisfied, hopefully. A sequel, bruh. I think I got just the idea. Do I have to switch the cameras, or does someone... Hey, duck man, whatever. Can you switch the camera off?
Brought to you by the Church of St. Morbius and Arby's. Jesus Christ, they good.
I felt my mind melting a little bit.
That was amazing.
The first anal rubber ducky.
I think anal means you do it once a year. I love Dee's reaction. He's like, I can't even.
Yeah.
Dan, I'm proud of you, man. I'm proud of you.
Yeah, very good. Good work, man.
Hey, some behind the scenes stuff. Dan was having a hard time trying to think of an idea for a skit, and then he came up with this, and he's like, I don't know, I'm not confident in it. And then I saw it, and I said, you should be, man.
Yeah. So good.
Thank you.
The
Dan,
church.
would you say you were
the Church of
were
St.
you having a little
Morbius.
problem getting it up? Sorry, as many G references as we can.
Jesus Christ, they good.
That was perfect. Bro, Arby's needs to take that as one of their new taglines. Forget we have the meats. Arby's. Jesus Christ, we good.
All right, guys. With those two segments out of the way, I think it is time to shoot the shit until it's over.
Until it's over.
All right. So we got The View with Drew here with a big question, but I'm going to try and modify it. He says, what are your guys' top 5 superhero movies of all time? His 5, in no particular order, is Logan, Dark Knight, Spider-Man 2, Thor 3, and Spider-Man No Way Home. Because we got 6 of us, and we can't really just have top 5. We'll be here forever. Out of his 5, are there any that are in your top 5? Let's start with D.
Yes. I'd have to look over my list again, but Dark Knight is a kind of an obvious contender. And Spider-Man 2, possibly.
Yeah, I think Logan would be up there for me. I really like The Dark Knight. I think it is a phenomenal film, but I just don't ride the hype train like everybody else does. But that doesn't mean much because I think it's a great film. I'd say Logan would probably be up there for me. What about Anthony?
I do ride that hype train, John. Logan, Dark Knight, and Spider-Man 2. Those from those. That's that's easily in my top 5 or top 10. Those 3 movies. So that would be my answer. Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Shawn?
I would probably say The Dark Knight is probably the only one on here that would be in my top 5.
Okay. Dan, with Spider-Man No Way Home being the newest one on his list, would that be on yours though?
Both of those Spider-Man ones might be up. They're up there. Spider-Man 2 definitely is in my top 10. Definitely. Spider-Man No Way Home. I love it. I think it would be up there. Honestly, all those are really good picks. I'm with you, John, with The Dark Knight. I love it still, but I'm not as big on it as everyone else is. Sorry, Eric. But no, I first, and also I thought this said Thor 2 at first. And I was like, no. I mean, coming from someone that knows someone that loves Morbius so much. But no, those are really good picks though.
Jace, this is literally your top 5, right?
Actually, there's quite a few that would fit in there. Dark Knight for sure. Like, I'll put it this way. I actually thought I fell off the hype train a little bit. Like, I got to the point where I was thinking, man, I think it's just really Heath Ledger's performance more than anything else. And I think after he's, like his performance is done in the movie, then it kind of just like falls flat. I actually feel like that still kind of stands true a smidgen, but I rewatched it not terribly long ago. And I got to say it holds up phenomenally. And it kind of gave me a refreshed feeling of like, man, this really is a phenomenal movie. So that would definitely be as far as a contender in there. Spider-Man 2, very, very top contender as far as for in here out of the picks. And No Way Home, it's funny because like Spider-Man 2 is probably the best Spider-Man movie when you just look at like solo individual encapsulated by itself movies. But as a culmination of different things, No Way Home is so immensely tough to beat. And because of that, it would get very close. If it's not in my top 5, it would be very, very, very close. I'll tell you what is in my top 5 for sure. Infinity War.
Yeah, I would say it's in my top 5 as well. Infinity War.
You know what would be in my top 5 is Into the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Oh, for sure.
Excellent pick. Yeah.
Into the Spider-Verse is another one I don't love as much as everyone else. I do love it though, but
I don't need that negativity in my life.
No, get him out of here.
Harry.
Dan, you earn it. You earned it.
It's that audio clip, by the way. It sounds like somebody's washing their hands after that.
Every time we make something new. Coke bottle, washing your hands.
I'm going to throw this one out here, and I don't know if you guys feel this way, but I would put The Batman, the new Robert Pattinson movie, in my top 5.
Wow. No, I wouldn't.
I really like it.
I just watched it again recently, and I love it so much for so many different reasons. No one feels that way? No?
I really like it.
Wait, this guy had a reaction to that, though. I'm curious.
Who?
You.
How?
D, do you agree? Is The Batman a top 5 superhero movies of all time for you?
I won't say it's immediate top. I won't say it's immediate top 5, but I can see where it could be a contender.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think it is a solidly. I think it is like an expertly crafted film. It's a matter of if we're talking about top and best as far as quality and versus favorite and all that kind of stuff. So that's where it gets dicey. But the Batman for me, I didn't have high expectations, and I felt like for it to be a 3-hour film, I just felt like it was going to take itself. I thought it was going to take itself too seriously. I thought it was going to be kind of a long, drawn out kind of slog of a film, and it wasn't. And it really, really got to the roots of that character. And if there was anything I didn't like about Batman, which is not the case because Batman was my introduction to superheroes, but if there was anything I felt like I didn't already know about the character or didn't already have kind of a perspective of, it definitely gave something new that I didn't think was capable given all the variations we've seen over all these years.
I love getting your perspective, dude.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Hey, you want to do this again sometime or something?
Yeah.
I mean,
See you next week.
Oh, X.
X is good.
Wait,
I
what
still
is
want to see that
John
movie.
saying?
John, are you muted?
John's muted or something. Yeah.
The mic isn't connected. John looks very upset.
Yeah, I said my eulogy and nobody heard it.
Okay. See, now there's no hissing. All right, whatever. I'm waiting for the hiss sound.
Anthony is stuck on what this noise is.
He really is.
I'm an audio guy, so yeah, whatever.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're right. You're right. Hey, D, did you see X?
Oh my gosh. Yes, I did.
What are your thoughts?
You have a lead-in question with that?
Do you fall in the same camp as me and Dan that we actually quite enjoyed it?
Yes.
Oh, but is it for the right reasons? Like, do you think it's competently made, or it's like it's so bad it's good?
We'll go with competently made.
Okay, yo, D's surprising me here, but you're holding something back. What is it? What are you holding back?
Shawn.
He has standards, man, of how people ask him questions, and you didn't ask it well enough, John. You need to construct your questions better. He brings a certain level of standard to his question asking.
I need the horn again. I lost. Yeah. Bum 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 bum. No hissing this time. Shawn.
I think me and D are very much so on the same page when it comes to X. I think, like he said, like it's competently made, sure, but there's so much that movie. Just what did you guys like about it? That is where I'd like to start off with.
Yes.
What did you enjoy about X? Because I could not find a single thing to grab onto when it came to that movie.
Okay. I think for one, on a superficial level, I really enjoyed the aesthetic throughout. I love the gritty 70s vibe of it all with the filter throughout the entire film. I thought that was a stylistic choice that I was really for.
Same.
And within the actual horror, I really enjoyed how the story progressed. And it was kooky, and it was I don't know. It worked for me. It was crazy and fun enough for me to see it and go, wow, I am having a good time right now. And I thought it was pretty well made. It's not like a top whatever film of the year or anything like that, right? But it's a film that I talk about in a good light, and I would recommend to people. I don't know if Dan has anything else to add to that.
Yeah, let me look. I'm looking because I think it is in my top 10.
I love what Tyra says down here. X is so bad it's good. Old naked people and sex. What more do you want? I think that's where a lot of people liked this movie and where they ended up enjoying it because it was so out there, you know. But
yeah, it's at 9 right now, so it'll probably be out of the thing by the end of the year. But I don't know. I was in a really bad mood when I went to see it, and I just had so much fun with it. I just love the aesthetic, like John said. I love that it felt like Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I just loved the cast. I love Jenna Ortega. I love Brittany Snow. I almost called her Amber Heard because she played in Pitch Perfect. She plays Amber, I think. Yeah, no, I just love the cast. I just thought it was funny, fun, sexy. kind of. It not at the end, not the one part. But the thing I liked about the old people is they showed it. They did a. It was brave, I guess. They just showed it. They didn't care. It was different. It was gritty. Yeah, I don't know. I really liked it. The second time I watched it, though, I watched it a few days later. I didn't like it as much. I was kind of bored, but I watched it like 2 days later. So, and my friends weren't enjoying it that much either.
See, everything you guys are saying, I understand, but I disagree. Like, I did not. And the one thing, I went into it wanting to have a fun time. I was like, I want a fun slasher. And the whole time I was like, this movie is not fun at all.
Wow. Yeah, I cannot relate.
Yeah. But that's,
Yeah,
that's how
I appreciated the fact that it was very referential as far as the horror genre and and how it was kind of paying, homage to all that, and the actors, performances, and the aesthetic, as you said, the shots. Like, there were plenty of things to like about it, but maybe it's because I went in thinking with this concept of a '70s slasher and this adult making a home video, adult film, and all that kind of stuff. I guess maybe it just comes down to expectation, but I was expecting more of a balls to the wall type of situation, and it didn't quite reach those heights for me personally.
Yeah.
Not that it's a horrible movie, or even by far, because there are certainly other films that have disappointed me far more than this one. But I just wanted more from the motivations of the old couple. I wanted to know more about them. I just kind of wanted more from it overall. So I literally say this all the time, but there's good movies, there's bad movies, and then there are the ones that fall in the middle because they waste a lot of potential or they don't reach the heights that they could. And so that's when those films fall in that category. Those are the ones that get frustrated with the most. Mm-hmm. Although I really am interested in seeing Pearl, because that may make it. I may feel differently after I see Pearl.
Now, is Pearl a movie or a TV show? Because when I first came out of X and they showed that little snippet of Pearl, I remember telling you guys, is this HBO Max? It kind of looks like a TV show, which is fine. Like I'd love if it was a TV show. I just wasn't sure.
Yeah,
so it's a movie.
Gonna be a movie. Yeah. I mirror everything that D just said. I think I actually had high expectations for X because you guys had seen it already and the reviews were glowing. So I was just like going into it like, this is going to be so much fun. It's going to be so interesting. And I just didn't see what everyone else was seeing. But I mean, Pearl could change all of that. And I think if, they give us a really good backstory of Mia Goth and her situation with her parents and a little bit more of the religious aspect to it, I think I could have a deeper appreciation for X.
Yeah. I actually agree about the old people's. I didn't really get their motivations, and so I'm looking forward to Pearl. I was gonna say something else. I don't remember.
Dude, bro.
Eric Thorpe said, the more you guys describe X, the more it sounds like my worst nightmare. I am all for what Shawn was saying about telling stories of older people. I don't want an orgy with them. Yes.
Don't knock it till you try it. How about we move on?
X was 80s B horror movie with a hint of porn. Agreed.
Yeah.
And Lisa says, I really enjoyed X. I had a lot of fun with it, and I got quite a few laughs from it. I loved the 70s vibe.
And I love Lisa.
I love Lisa, too, so much.
Guys, we got, did you see that in the chat? Hey, everyone. So glad I can catch this live. And so great seeing D Movieman on another live. I only know Shawn and D, but I know all you other four will also be legends.
Oh, my.
Appreciate that,
too
my
kind
man.
of you.
Mike's a good guy.
You're what?
He's a good guy.
Oh, gotcha. Mike.
You guys should subscribe to his channel.
Mike is awesome.
I shall. Hey, Mike, thanks for passing by, man. And thanks for those kind words. Got Lisa here with a question, a really good question. Have any of you ever found yourself taken by surprise with an emotion while watching a movie/TV show? Mine was totally breaking down at the end of Toy Story 3 when Andy was giving away his toys. Great film. One of my favorite films of all time is Toy Story 3. I got two examples here from two different emotions that I was taken by surprise. One of them obviously sadness, and the other anger. The first one was when I saw First Man, Damien Chazelle's First Man with Ryan Gosling. And the movie starts out with Ryan Gosling's character, Neil Armstrong, and his daughter, who has an ailment. I forget what it was. But spoiler for a 3-year-old movie, within the first 20 minutes, we find out that she doesn't make it and she dies. And he is kind of going through this journey throughout the entire movie. And at the very end, when they finally make it to the moon, spoiler alert, they make it to the moon. he gets the little bracelet that his daughter made. That I think it has her name or his name on it that she made for him. And on top of the moon, he takes the bracelet out and he lets it go on the moon. And that's where he leaves it, on the moon. And I was so surprised because after an hour and a half or 2 hours I kind of forgot that she even died. And when that came back, I immediately, boom, burst into a weeping baby. Wow, what direction? What direction? And I started weeping at that thought of like, wow, this all led up to this. Oh. And another one, a funnier one now, is anger. When I saw the Florida Project for the first time, the mom character, the young mom, oh my God, I freaking hated that character. And throughout, I was trying to resonate with her a little bit, especially because I live 15 minutes away from the hotel. I'm like, I know the people in this area. And there's a part in the movie where she's being such a bitch and she takes her pad out of her pants, bloodied and everything. Sorry for the graphic description, guys. And she takes it out and just puts it on the glass door and flicks off the manager. And I got so angry. I had to pause the movie and said, I don't know if I can keep watching this. I hate this character.
But you love that movie.
I love it. Adore it. Those are my two examples. What about you, T?
This one is going to sound like it's completely out of the blue because the film that it's from is nothing like that. There's no trace of that anywhere else. But for one, I would say The Nutty Professor 2.
Whoa.
So throughout, if you've seen The Nutty Professor 2, you know it's a whole lot of foolishness. But there's this whole situation where Bloody Love becomes his own entity, and once he's outside of Sherman's body, Sherman's intelligence starts to decrease, and then it becomes this mad rush of, hey, we have to get Buddy back and as a part of you, because basically just that part of him that drove his intelligence basically is missing. So there's a part at the end where they make it all the way to the to this water fountain, and basically this form of Buddy has basically dissipated at this point. And Sherman, who has been like a genius in the first film and the majority of the second, he's kind of like, you can kind of see like once he realizes this is it, he's kind of like lost. And then Janet Jackson plays his fiance, Denise. And so it is just this really, because you see Sherman sit down and then you see him kind of sit. And he goes into this cycle where he sees like all these memories of his life, of his mom being excited for him getting married and how he wants to be perfect. And you have to accept these parts of yourself and all this kind of stuff. And so when she runs to him and she realizes that, that it's gone, that it's too late, Sherman can't really articulate himself anymore. And so what he looks at her and he tells her, I should have had, more faith in you. I should have had more faith in myself. And so she's like, well, we can do something. We can figure something out. And then all of a sudden Sherman like completely, like he kind of like shuts down. And so she grabs his face and she says, like, who am I? And then he looks at her for a really long time and he says, pretty lady. you know, and he doesn't recognize her anymore. He doesn't know who she is. And as soon as she realizes that, she grabs him and she starts like crying. And then, you know, even after that moment is over, and even while she's there with him, she says like, I'm going to protect you. I'm going to take care of you, you know? And then you realize she's about to go and she's like, despite all this that has happened, like she is still devoted to him and she is going to like figure something out. And then of course, you know, things get worked out when the tear drops and, you know, there's a whole scene with the water fountain. But it's weird how deeply emotional that scene is, because we literally have a scene where there's a giant hamster that sodomizes a human character. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, how do we go from that all the way here? So yeah, it's weird, but it touches me for a lot of different reasons. But I've seen what it's like to. And I've talked about it all the time. Film so often, and even Shawn and I have discussed it recently, how often film can inform certain aspects of your life, or bring back memories, bring back people, bring back places, and all these things that you've forgotten about and thought you left behind. And so, in that moment, I saw people in my life with a similar, you know, experience, and even beyond that, just the emotion in that scene really shocked me. So.
Yeah, and I would have never thought anyone would.
Nutty Professor 2.
Yeah, but
but you know what it
sense.
is?
Totally not choking up a bit over here.
I think comedies, like, they lure us in because they're funny and they're humorous, and then we get these emotional beats, and it's just like, oh, ouch, right, you know, it gets you. My answer to this would be Mrs. Doubtfire. D, you got me thinking about this, and I'm like, oh my god, Mrs. Doubtfire reminds me, because you get Robin Williams, you know, a legend, but like, you know, it's this great comedy, but then there's this heart, there's heart to the movie, and then there's bits at the end. I don't want to spoil too much, but there's bits at the end where there's a breakup between the husband and a wife and a family. And that's like the saddest thing in the world. And unfortunately, many of us can relate to that. So that hit me. And really, and then also Lisa mentioned Toy Story 3. Anything Pixar is like, it's just a gut punch with so much Pixar movies. So Up would be my pick. The opening scene from Up is like, that's a tough one to get through. Yeah. So that would be my say on this one. Great question.
It is a great question.
Yeah. And also, I just want to also quickly say, there's like a streaming sound. It's going to be me in a second. So I'm going to have to take a break for 1 second. So I will be back, though. Sorry.
Sounds good, Anthony. Shawn, I'm curious as to what your answer is here.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I have two that like immediately came to mind. The first one is in Blue Bayou. I was not really expecting anything from that movie when I first saw it, saw the trailers for it. And the end of that film wrecked me in a way that I don't remember any other movie has ever wrecked. Like, I was just ugly crying, just tears, like, and I don't know exactly what it was. Maybe it's a culmination of the movie as a whole, but where that film leads to at the end, because there's just no way out of this situation, and it's just heartbreaking. I just was gutted by that. And another movie is a movie that me and Dee were just talking about, and it's recent, so it's very fresh still, but good luck to you, Leo Grande. I don't want to give it away because I know a lot of you guys haven't seen this movie, but it took me so by surprise that it starts out very lighthearted and just like two people conversing with each other, and you know, it's a little bit sexy, and the twists and turns that movie takes, it was so unexpected to me. And there is a part in the film, I just felt like I was being stabbed in the gut, and like it was just being turned, because the way that the situation ends up, it was just so unexpected, and it hurt because I fell in love with these two characters so much that the way things start turning, it hurt me because I cared about these characters. So you guys have to see that movie, the both of you. But yeah, those would be my two answers.
Yeah, good choice. Jace, I saw the emotion in your eyes when Dee was talking. I'd like to get you to make me feel that way.
Oh, holy shit, man. Don't put me up to those expectations like that. Well, no, I mean, like, holy shit. Dee, I feel like you could make an entire video on just the depiction and your breakdown of that scene, and it would make, like, everyone immensely appreciate the movie more. That was really, really beautifully stated, because, like, I knew exactly what moments you were talking about. And it's funny, I haven't seen that movie in forever, and it just gave me such a deeper appreciation than I thought I ever would have had for that movie.
Right.
And I always liked it too. I mean, it just was a funny movie to me, but now all of a sudden there's that. For this, I have one answer that, like, I feel really awkward giving now, and I'll explain why. So I'll start with the answer that I thought of that's less awkward. It's also from Toy Story 3, and it's the moment where all the toys are basically heading towards the incineration pit. You know what I mean? And even though, like, I didn't really believe they were gonna get, incinerated, for some reason, like, the intensity of that moment, like, took my heart right by its throat and was just like, it was just ridiculous. I was so shocked that even though I had a lot of, resonating feelings and nostalgia with Toy Story and everything, but I didn't expect something like that type of moment. So that was, and the moment that's mentioned here. But yeah, that little part with that incinerator pit was really, really crazy. The one that I feel it's weird. It's still a good moment. It shouldn't ruin it because of this, but it involves Ezra Miller. Hear me out. In the Snyder Cut, there's the scene where Ezra Miller, his Flash, is saving Iris West. So, right, like, there's a part where she gets into a car accident and he, like, turns around, goes in super speed. So, like, it's basically a kind of a crazier rip on what Quicksilver does in the X-Men movies, where he's moving basically at, like, regular speed, but everything around him is going super insanely slow. It's not so much his performance, it is the music. The song that plays with that scene is, I don't know how to put it, man. It, like, hit me in the feels so fucking hard immediately. Like, out of nowhere, it was weird. I literally started, like, kind of tearing up, and I was asking myself, I'm like, what the fuck is happening right now? And it was just that beautiful, to the point where after the scene finished playing through and was just like, oh my God, I'm kind of a wreck now, I paused the movie and then looked up the song to hear the full thing, because it was just, like, that mesmerizing for me. So I blame it a lot on the song more than anything else, but it went with everything so beautifully. It complemented it so well, and it's just an absolutely amazing song. So if you don't know what I'm talking about, just literally search up, like, Snyder Cut Flash scene, and I guarantee it'll be one of the first things that pops up.
All right, Dan, let's end it with you.
I've been racking my brain. Like, this is a question that I would normally be able to just answer, but I can't. Well, so Toy Story 3 is a good. I just watched it the other day, and that scene, like, really got me. It became my favorite Pixar movie now. Finding Nemo was, and then this we watched made Toy Story 3.
You like it more than the first two?
Yeah, so does John.
Wow.
I mean, I think Toy Story 3 is one of the best films of all time, let alone just Toy Story films.
Yeah, so I like Toy Story 3, Toy Story 1, then Toy Story 2, and Toy Story 4 after we watched, but that's down.
Well, what about within Toy Story 3? Like, I mean, I'm sure you agree with Jace. Is there maybe another moment within that film?
With Andy giving his toys away. Also, and this kind of goes in Toy Story 2 too. Just like Jessie getting given away by her, or getting left by her owner, and then Lotso getting left. Even Lotso, I know he's bad, but him getting left by his owner and seeing he's replaced. that kind of got me. And this is not a sad like emotion, but like the new Dune, seeing that sandworm, it was just like so amazing to see on the big screen. Like that was such good visuals. Like I was in awe. Yeah, I don't know, and I'd say Spider-Man: No Way Home when when you know who dies. And that scene was just so well done, and I was surprised. Yeah, I got sad with it.
Yeah, a couple good choices there for sure. I agree with a lot of those too. What's up, D?
No, I was gonna say, did everyone say two? I think I only said one.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Yeah, we need another one.
Okay. Help me out because I'm stuck between two. Just say one of these two films, either The Joy Luck Club or Little Princess.
Little Princess.
Little Princess.
Let's go. Yeah.
So for anyone, I don't know if you guys have seen. I mean, some of you may have seen The Little Princess, but tells the story of Sarah Crew. And she she grows up in India. Her father is like a soldier. I can't remember what regiment, but basically she has had this very cultured experience. She's lived in India. She's seen this very rich, vibrant, beautiful culture. And so she then they come back to America, and she goes to this boarding house, and she's kind of, because she has all this money, and and it's not just because of her money. Of course, that draws attention, and that's the main thing that the headmistress is concerned about. But she also is just someone with a beautiful heart. She wants to be friends with everyone. She wants to just be kind-hearted to everyone. And I think part of that is what she's seen and what her father has taught her. However, at some point in the film, right in the middle of her birthday, they received a message that her father has been killed in action. And not only is that devastating enough, but then Miss Minchin, the headmistress, basically confiscates all of her stuff and basically says that she has to now work as a servant girl. Otherwise, either that or I kick you out into the street. So be grateful, be thankful. And she even takes the locket that her father gave her. So she has basically been reduced to nothing. It's a very miserable experience, and it's a really interesting film to experience as a child watching this, because it's very intense. But throughout the story, it's kind of her trying to make sense of her life, and kind of there are some things that happen throughout the story. But there's this point later on, she's been through it. She's wearing rags. Her hair is tied up. She looks like a peasant basically. And so she finally finds some coins in the gutter or something like that. And so she sees this bakery, and so she runs in and she sees a massive cinnamon roll. It looks, the steam is coming off of it, just freshly baked. And she's walking down the street. She's excited. She's about to bite into it. And then she looks up and she sees this woman selling flowers who looks much like herself. But this is an adult woman. She has a baby in her arm. She has two younger children. They're trying to sell the flowers just to get enough money to eat something. And so she sees them, and she goes to the youngest child, and she gives them the cinnamon roll. And I don't think she even says anything. I think she just kind of gives it and then just kind of walks away. And so then they kind of look at each other. And so the mom, kind of signals the little girl. She takes one of the flowers and gives it to her. And so she turns it back, and the mother says to her, "For the princess."
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why that is such a thing, because my little princess is what her father also always called her. And beyond that, it's the fact that this girl who's been reduced to nothing, who has nothing, not the fact that this woman saw her heart and saw it as something worthy of royalty. I know you can say the word princess, but it's like what your heart reflects and what I see you as in this moment is something of greater value than how you look. So anyway, so that was one, because that really took me aback. Sorry, y'all.
You see how these emotional experiences just are so much more superior than anything that social commentary could ever affect.
Yeah. Bringing it back full circle.
Yeah, I mean, it's true though. It's true.
Have you guys seen A Little Princess, by the way?
No, I have not.
It's one of Alfonso Cuarón's first films.
Wow. Okay.
And it was before he did Harry Potter and Prisoner of Azkaban and whatnot. But like that movie is one of the best like family films ever. Like I grew up on that movie, and it's so underrated, but it's such a fantastic film. If no one's seen it, please seek it out.
Oh wow, you guys getting me excited here. Yeah, definitely. All right, let's get to some superhero stuff now because it's predictions for Comic-Con this weekend, right?
Yeah. Yep.
I'll say straight up, I believe we're gonna get a trailer for Black Panther.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Any other out there predictions that you guys may have?
People are thinking either at this or D23, Fantastic Four director and Fantastic Four cast announcement.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mephisto's getting his own Disney Plus series.
Oh my god. No.
Hey, no, but on a serious note, if you want, this is all speculation, but do you want to hear like the rumors of what I have picked up on?
Yeah, sure.
Please.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Supposedly, take all this with a grain of salt, everybody. We already mentioned about Black Panther. Supposedly, Ryan Coogler and a bunch of the cast will be present and bring the first trailer for Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds will be in attendance to announce the next Deadpool movie, which isn't titled Deadpool 3. Director Shawn Levy will send in a video. Secret Invasion. No one will be in attendance for Secret Invasion, but they will reveal the main cast and share some footage. Blade, Mahershala Ali, Kit Harington, Aaron Pierre. A couple of other people will be in attendance for some news. One big piece of news is that Anthony Starr will play Dracula, apparently, which is the guy who plays fucking Homelander, which I love that casting if this is true.
Oh my god, I love that casting.
The Marvels, Brie, Iman, and Tiana will be there when they show their footage. I think it's the director that won't be there present due to her pregnancy. Anson Mount will reprise his role as Black Bolt, which is extremely interesting to me if that's true, because he's an Inhuman character, and spoiler alert, they just confirmed Ms. Marvel to be the first mutant of the MCU, instead of making her an Inhuman like she is in the comics. So that's, again, very interesting to me. Jodie Turner-Smith will join as Medusa in the post-credit scene of the movie, setting up Universal Inhumans as a big cosmic story going forward, apparently. World War Hulk was originally going to be a movie. It is now being turned into a 4-part series for Disney Plus that may have a small theatrical release. This could possibly be the big Avengers event before Secret Wars with many big characters. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, a majority of the cast will be in attendance to introduce and show some footage. And Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania, we will see some footage with actors Paul Rudd, Lillian Newton present. Jonathan Majors will send in a video as Kang. Wonder Man will be, which this is one surprised me, Wonder Man will be announced that Henry Golding is Simon Williams. So that I thought was a really interesting casting. An interesting detail is that Evan Peters is returning as Ralph Boner, but may have a new name. Will likely be a side character in the show. And last but not least, Daredevil Man Without Fear will be announced with Charlie Cox starring along Isa Gonzalez as Elektra.
Oh, what? Oh my god, I love that casting. Sorry.
It's funny too because we were talking about Marvel fatigue, right? And like, I'm sorry, some of that sounds pretty interesting to me. And this is coming from a guy who like
until they go and execute it, Anthony.
Yeah.
True. Now I'm not excited.
But I still have some faith in if some of that is true, or hypothetically, if all of that is true, there's some of that I truly am like really excited for and would be surprised I messed up.
Okay, now I'm curious. I want everyone to go around. Out of all of that, what would you be most excited for?
Yeah. Okay.
Starting with Anthony.
Daredevil. I think that I was a big fan of that TV show. There's a lot in there though. Blade, the return of Blade. I've been looking forward to the return of that character. Geez, I don't know. It's like I've been back and forth on Fantastic Four, but it's we'll see what happens. I mean, we need a new Fantastic. We need a good Fantastic Four movie. Yes. So I don't know. There's just a lot in there that sounded like it had potential. I'm happy to hear a lot of it. We'll see what's true, and again, like John said, we'll see how well it's executed.
I'm curious as to how they're going to handle everything with the Marvels. And I hope that rumor does turn out to be true. And maybe we'll see some photos or maybe some footage and they start to explain exactly what the Marvels is going to be. I think even though I don't praise Miss Marvel, I didn't necessarily like that show. I do think the way it ended, it launched the MCU somewhere that I want to go. So I'm curious what the Marvels is going to do there. And then you talking about what's his name, Black Bolt, the same actor that plays Black Bolt, possibly making a cameo in the film. And I want to see how all that works out if that is the case. So that would be my choice.
Cool.
What about you, D?
Yeah, I was gonna say Daredevil was the first that jumped out because it's been so long since, you know, I don't know, just from the first season and everything that's kind of happened with the character. And then of course seeing him in No Way Home, and I'm just excited to see like what the future of that character is going to look like, because I really enjoyed Charlie Cox in that role and just the series in general. I would say I'm really interested in Quantumania because I've really enjoyed the Ant-Man films, and the first Ant-Man is still one of my favorites as far as the origin films. Might be my favorite or second favorite. I'll be really honest. I don't know what it would take, but Black Panther is kind of dead in the water for me. It may change at some point, but I think that since you know what happened, I feel like I've not been connected to it, and then it just seems like production has been a bit of a
hot mess.
Yeah, so it's gonna, maybe I'll feel differently once I see the trailer. Right now, just with everything that has gone on from 2020 to now, I'm like, no.
What about you, JC Poo?
You know, I'd say Quantumania is probably up there a little bit, just strictly because I actually think that movie's going to take quite a few people by surprise.
Think so?
Well, I don't know. This is complete, obviously, like a guess, but for some reason, I get this like weird feeling that it's going to be reminiscent of how Captain America: Civil War was like an Avengers 2.5, and I feel like this builds up a vibe. Since they're introducing Kang, you know what I mean? I know he was technically a version of him was in the Loki show, but the point is, right, they're bringing in like Kang the Conqueror. And I feel like when you do that, you have to make it known right away this is an Avengers level threat. So I'm not trying to say we should expect all the Avengers in this movie. I don't even know to what fair extent I would say, you know, like, oh, I think this person and this person. But I do think it's going to feel Civil War-esque. Right. And I think that'll kind of bring a little bit more excitement, because I think as of right now, everyone's just underestimating. They're like, it's just a fucking Ant-Man film. Right. You know, it's like, and I think they're going to use that to their favor. Right. And leverage it. So it's like, yeah, that's what you thought it was just going to be. Right. Well, bam, here's all this other shit. So anyway, I think that's going to be like a really cool thing. And speaking of Avengers related things, I guess another one I could throw out there is I thought the whole concept of a World War Hulk thing broken into a 4-part miniseries that's like a true event, right? Which, you know, I know it could be turned into like how Obi-Wan maybe didn't execute entirely how it should have, and it didn't feel as much as like an event as in its entirety as it could or should have. But I think that this, if they nail it right, I know execution is everything, but that would be dope. And that would be the coolest thing to like for me to look forward to as far as, again, Avengers full on related, if they really were able to do that. And plus, if they had like a limited theatrical release with it, that'd be really cool. Yeah, I don't know. I think those would be the top ones. If anything, Deadpool, even though it's not Deadpool 3, still, nonetheless, I'm just so excited that Ryan Reynolds is still around as Deadpool, and that, you know, they're cool with like taking it in an R-rated direction, it seems still. So those would be the top of that list for me.
Nice.
Take us home again, Dan.
So, Ant-Man Quantumania, I basically was going to say the same thing about it being like Civil War. But with the title like Quantumania, it has to be more than an Ant-Man movie. But
Multiverse of Madness.
I also doubt that about Multiverse of Madness. But I'm really excited for the Marvels because of Iman Vellani and Tiana Paris. I don't care about who you are, as you guys know. But she's fine. And I'm excited for Guardians of the Galaxy 3. Yeah.
Okay.
Nice. So for me, I would like to say that I think Isa Gonzalez is such incredible casting for Elektra. And to bring her into the show, or so is it going to be a show or a movie, or do we not know yet? Or
It's a rumor.
It says it's a show.
it's a show. Yeah, I want to see that come back. I hope we still have the same people working on it because I love that show. And then also, I am so excited for Mahershala Ali as Blade. Like, I think there's so much potential for this character. And, you know, Wesley Snipes did okay. The third one's horrible. But I'm really excited to see them bring this character into the MCU. So for me, Blade is probably, I would say, my number one most excited thing.
Wow. Okay.
Wow. Nice. Have you guys seen The Barge, people? I've never seen that, but according to Patrick, he broke down watching it.
I never
The
heard
Barge people? I've never even heard of it.
Yeah. Answering Lisa's question.
The Barge people.
Hey, but guess what? He says, we are all Greek gods when we were talking about,
Oh, Patrick.
about the body image and all that with men. Patrick's the best.
Yeah.
What a sweetheart. What a sweetheart.
You see me blushing over here.
I know. Unless you talk about A24, then he's not a sweetheart.
He doesn't like it, yeah. Eric is just curious, who makes the questions of the week? Do you guys rotate? Lately, I've been the one that makes the question of the week. And also lately, I've been trying to make the question of the week open-ended so that we can all have a discussion and relating to a film that just released or is going to release. That way it makes it relevant. I think it's better than just like, what's the worst movie you ever seen? Which, you know, that's a question. It's
fun
fair.
question.
But I just to have an open-ended segment where we can have discussions. So
yeah, he's been taking exclusive control over it. So Joe actually tried to make the question of the week for this week, hence the reason he's not on this stream and got replaced with D. So that's what happens when you try to overstep John in this.
Yep. That is what happens.
I killed him.
I miss Joe.
I know. We miss you, Joe.
Yes.
Eric says what our thoughts are on Peter Dinklage joining the Hunger Games prequel. He's a bit disappointed. This is what Peter Dinklage is doing right now, but I guess it raises my excitement for the project from nothing.
Wow. There goes those opinions.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I like the second Hunger Games.
Me too.
Yes.
And that's it.
Right there with you.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. I just kind of like the second Hunger Games, Catching Fire.
I think I recall liking the first and second one. How many were there? And by the time, wow, yeah, I lost them by the end. But okay.
Yeah, D, what do you think about Dinklage joining the prequel? Do you think it'll get some hype for this Songbirds and Snakes, whatever it's called?
See, the thing is, I didn't even know this existed until So I literally was sitting there. I went to go see Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris, and then all of a sudden they show this bird and they show this like this whole icon, and I was like, this isn't. I'm thinking this is something completely different. And then it said, you know, I can't remember what the name is either, but a song of such and such. I was like, Hunger Games, we're doing this again, and then of course I find out it's a prequel. I mean, Peter Dinklage is always great. I can't think of a Peter Dinklage role that I didn't enjoy him in. So I think if anything, I mean, it gives some legitimacy to it for now. Well, I think it depends on the rest of the casting and how they choose to execute that. But yeah, and as far as Hunger Games, I never got into it because Hollywood has this thing where they move in trends. And for me, the young adults dystopian adaptation thing, I was kind of over it. And between Divergent and the Hunger Games, I just so happened to kind of settle on the Maze Runner. I didn't realize it was that before I saw it, and then ended up kind of continuing with the Maze Runner, and then I left the other two by the wayside. So.
Because Dylan O'Brien. That's why.
He's great.
That's pretty much it. I don't have much to say about this, man. I'm not really excited for it. That's it, Eric. Sorry.
Yeah, I would have. I'd probably just seen it because it's a big movie that's coming out, but I don't really care about it.
Is it like the explanation of how the Hunger Games came to be? Probably.
I think it's about the book, and it's about how President Snow, how he came to be. So I think that the Hunger Games is already in effect.
Maybe.
I'm not sure. It's because there is a book of this. There's a book. But yeah, I'm not sure if it's how the Hunger Games came to be.
Oh, I'd much rather see that story. I actually feel like that would be, if it was creatively put together, I'd love to see the whole like concept of them officially putting it into effect, right? Like,
because I'm the same.
I mean?
I really only liked Catching Fire, and then Hunger Games 1 was okay. I like 4 more than a lot of people, but I didn't. It was but yeah.
Yeah, not for me. Sorry, but keeping it on Dan. Eric says, also, Dan, you want to tell everyone your hot take on...
What? Yeah, she's from GoldenEye. I think he's talking about Famke Jenskin's Jean Grey.
Famke.
I don't know if there's a hot take, because I can't picture anyone watching that movie and not thinking she's over the top and crazy and weird. Very weird. Too weird. But yeah, no, I thought she was over the top. My least favorite part of the movie, I think. And I like her as an actress, but yeah, no, she was weird, really too weird. I don't know if that's a normal thing in Bond. I guess maybe it is, because I've really only seen Dr. No, and then the Daniel Craig ones. And I like Dr. No. I like this one more than Spectre and Quantum of Solace, at least, but that's not saying much.
Dan, check it out. Drew thinks you should get a rubber ducky for your skin.
Yeah.
Lisa says it's one of her favorites, man.
I know, I saw that. Thank you, Lisa.
Wow. Yeah. All right. What else? We got Drew here. He says, which actor do you think has the best redemption playing a comic book character? Ben Affleck, Colin Farrell, or Oscar Isaac? Ooh, good question. I think everybody would kind of lean toward Affleck just because he played the bigger character, Batman. Mm-hmm. He played Batman.
I was gonna go Oscar Isaac. I forgot that he was in Apocalypse.
Yeah, I think I'd go Oscar Isaac.
I would too.
Yeah.
It's between him and Affleck for me, for sure. But I mean, they're both great choices. They really are. Colin Farrell, his original role was like, it was in a ridiculous movie in the first place, made in a ridiculous time where they didn't fully understand comic book movies so much.
Colin Farrell's Daredevil?
Bullseye.
In Daredevil, I mean.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So I don't know. It's one of those, of course, it wasn't that great, but the whole thing wasn't that great altogether. So it's hard to hold that one entirely against him. And I guess same with Ben Affleck as Daredevil. Like, it's weird. I guess maybe he wasn't actually the worst as Daredevil. It's just the movie was entirely shit. But yeah, maybe as far as full-on redemptions, because everything about Apocalypse was really not that great at all. But him as Moon Knight, I could dig it. I could dig it. His acting performance in that show, even if the show itself was kind of like, right, all around a bit of meh, mixed with some really, really good stuff. The really good stuff came from his amazing performance all the way through.
I agree. Yeah.
Yo, the part where he breaks down in the street after, like, and first has Steven take over as an adult.
No, my part was when he was hitting himself.
Yeah, and that. Those are two great moments.
My part were when the credits rolled.
I knew he was going to say that.
We have a non-superhero question from Drew. What is your favorite emotional ending for a movie? This might sound crazy. My pick is the ending to Furious 7, where they honor Paul Walker's memory. That's actually a really good choice.
That's a good one.
Really good choice. And an emotional ending for a movie. My favorite. We talked about it so much now, but you guys know me. My favorite film of all time is Toy Story. So within that franchise, Toy Story 3's ending is my favorite emotional ending. And it is. It's not because we mentioned it. It's if we never mentioned Toy Story in this stream, that would have been my answer. It would be the ending of Toy Story 3.
But wait, even more than Forrest Gump, you would say, for you?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
I love Forrest Gump though, but yeah.
That's why I'm asking. I know you're such a Forrest Gump fan, and that that has like an emotional ending too. So yeah.
Yeah. What about you, Jace?
Shoot. You might have to come back to me on this one. I because Toy Story 3 definitely fits in there, but I'm not just trying to steal your answer. So yeah, maybe circle around. Hey Dan, what do you think?
I don't know.
Anthony, what do you think?
Shawshank Redemption. Easily,
Okay.
easily. Yeah, that's like the first thing that popped into my head. Shawshank Redemption ending. I love it. It's very emotional, but I don't even want to spoil it for the 3 people left in the universe that haven't seen the movie yet. But that would be my pick for emotional endings.
That's too many people.
Okay.
So what about you, D? Do you have something in mind?
Yes. I would say, since I mentioned it earlier, I would say the Joy Luck Club. That the ending of that film, and just kind of the full circle moment of that. We see all these stories of these women, of these mothers and these daughters, and kind of this one daughter in particular kind of dealing with this sense of disappointment and not being good enough and feeling like she hasn't done anything of value with her life, and dealing with the loss of her mother and all these unresolved feelings. And so where it starts at the beginning and all this journey we take with all these women, and then her actually journeying to her mother's ancestral home, and actually meeting her sisters for the first time and reconnecting to that part of herself that she didn't think was even there anymore. And in doing that, honoring her mother and bringing all these pieces of herself and her family together. I thought it was so beautiful, because it's a very heavy, difficult film to watch, but it's such an emotionally beautiful way to kind of close all that out and have that theme there.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
That's such a good movie.
Yeah.
What about you,
right now?
Shawnee Poo?
Well, I brought up Blue Bayou. That is one that wrecks me. Another recent movie that had a very surprisingly emotional and powerful ending was Everything Everywhere All at Once. I was not expecting it to come together in the way that it did, and how powerful it was. I mean, that movie is so good on so many levels. And then also I have to bring up Pan's Labyrinth too. And the end is extremely ambiguous. You don't really know if our lead character is dead, if she's alive, if the whole thing was a dream, or if it's actually a fantasy world. And but the way that movie ends just gives me chills every time.
Anthony, you said it right. Oh wait, it was Dan. Dan, did you have one?
No, and Jason had one.
Oh, thanks, Dan.
It's okay.
I could maybe
at the moment.
I don't know.
I could maybe throw one out there, and it's just it's weird because I can't even fully remember the exact ending, which is why I feel odd giving this answer. But I'm still gonna throw it out there because it's like it's always sat with me as far as emotionally resonating moments and endings in movies in general. What's Eating Gilbert Grape?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Which with Leonardo DiCaprio and Johnny Depp, which is the only movie with them together, which is a shame.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just feel like they're so dynamic of actors. Like, it's so weird that they never managed to cross paths and never be in another project together. But if you want to cry, watch that movie. That's for sure.
I really like Gilbert Grape. Yeah, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Sin's Corner is saying Liar Liar is another great comedy with hard-hitting emotional punch dealing with custody disputes and how fathers are often treated. That scene at the end in the courtroom when Jim Carrey says he holds himself in contempt kills my heart every time.
True. Yeah.
Kind of like Nutty Professor. I never really saw that emotional depth, but there are people out there that do.
Man, these comedies, they sneak the emotional punches, gut punches in, and it gets you.
Yeah, I think when it's so unexpected too, that's when it's even more powerful.
Yeah, agreed.
Eric Thorpe would say Endgame, other than the obvious stuff. The opening scene with Tony talking to the helmet was just, other than the main theme, that's my favorite Sylvester music in it. Lisa Love saying the whole world wants to have D as a conversation companion. You can't have
Amen.
D, if there's anything I would ask you to take away from all this, other than the fact that I hope it was a fucking amazing time, it's just, I really, really actually feel like you should contemplate maybe doing some videos where you like break down those scenes like that and show that intricate detail that I think just kind of passes by so many people, unfortunately. Bro, in a matter of minutes, you made me, again, with 2 different projects. One I've seen and never looked at that way. Another one I've never seen and now really want to. Like, it just was really well done. And gotta hand it to you, man. And I don't know. I think that's something that I don't think I'm alone in feeling that way. And dare I say, I think that would be like wonderful content for you.
Yeah,
Definitely.
agreed.
Yeah, it's weird. I actually thought a long time ago. There's so many ideas I had before I started this, and didn't think I would be doing this. So they just sat. But I thought about kind of doing something in the vein of that. But was unsure, so I guess that's just confirmation that I should. So, yeah, thank you.
I would love for you to do a breakdown of Cloud Atlas. I would so love that.
Just in general.
Just like a breakdown, kind of like what you were doing there, but like a breakdown of all of your thoughts and ideas on Cloud Atlas, because there's so much to unpack in that movie, and I know you love it so much.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. Well, Eric's out here saying that, Dan, you got a hot take for that opinion, the GoldenEye opinion.
Yeah.
But we got Lisa here saying that the end of Incredible Journey kills me when Shadow's limping over the hill. That is definitely something that I mentioned too. Me and my sister always talk about that, how Incredible Journey kills us with that very ending when he thinks Shadow didn't make it because he was an old dog, and then you see him slowly limping over the hill. Oh,
yeah.
God, I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, guys, we've reached the end of our shooting the shiznits, but you already know what we got to do. I think it's time for a little 80s freeze frame, if you will.
Yeah.
Let's get it, y'all. Oh, wait. There we go. Let's get it, y'all. Everybody's taking off there.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it.
Get ready.
We ready? Yeah. Let's get it. We got.
I'm so happy someone took their shirt off.
First time of the season, y'all.
Yes, it's about damn time.
It's officially shooting the shit now.
Lisa saying it's been great as always, guys. Awesome to see Dion. I love the deep chat. We love the
D, thank you so much for coming on, man. It's been a pleasure. Really appreciate it.
Has.
It's been
Seriously,
awesome.
man.
No, thank you guys. And I promise the deep conversations were planned. I don't know how we kind of deviated into that. Being open to that and just kind of flowing with me on those conversations.
It's all good, man. It's all good. We really enjoyed them. We need some seriousness within shooting the shit sometimes, you know?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. In classic Cinema Squad fashion, we are going to go one by one. We're going to try to sell ourselves to the internet right now, and then we're going to be ending it. So let's start out with, let me see.
Oh, you're going to do that and not even start with yourself?
No.
You can start with me. Okay.
What up, Anthony?
Hey.
Hey.
what's up, guys? Anthony from Fever Dreamland Theater. Please check out my channel. Hit like, hit sub, and all that good stuff. Over on my channel, I look into Twilight Zone mostly, but also some 80s movies and stuff like that. And I have The Fly 2 is in progress right now from 1989. So I'm looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to you guys checking it out. And thank you to everybody for watching this stream tonight as well. And I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Anthony. You handsome man.
I know.
Handsome brother.
We're going to Mr. Jace. Hi, puppy.
What's going on, everybody? Thank you for stopping by. Genuinely appreciate everybody being here, especially hanging out for this whole thing. Go, if you're kind enough, subscribe to my channel. Like, that'd be really cool, especially it doesn't take a lot of effort. You could just kind of like pop over there, you're searching this really weird looking name and just hit that button, maybe the notification bell as well. And yeah, that'd be like super awesome. As far as stuff that's coming that you can maybe expect, there is absolutely, as soon as I can manage to find the time to drag the two dads in here, aka Fever Dreamland Theater and Dad of Movies, I am going to go ahead and we're going to put together a Star Wars live stream to discuss Kenobi in its entirety and then anything that's upcoming. So we're going to try and get that in there soon, as well as I am dying to get another stream in to talk about Love and Thunder because I got some things to say about that movie. So,
got some things, sweet thing.
Yeah, some things. I'll leave it at that for now. There is more on the precipice of hitting you in the faces, but I'm going to go ahead and, like I said, leave it at that. So be on the lookout for some streams. Appreciate you.
Appreciate you, shirtless hunk.
Ooh. Speaking of hunks.
Speaking of hunks, we got the gun show in town. Shawn, sell yourself to the internet.
My name is Shawn. You can subscribe to my channel, Lost in the Reel. And a couple of things coming up on my channel. I have a lot of TV coming up in the next week because all of the streaming services have decided to wait until the last week of July to drop all of their interesting content. So I have The Sandman review coming from Netflix. I have The Resort from Peacock, a couple of Apple TV Plus shows. And then it's going to happen, D, I promise. Part 2 of the movies that changed us. It's going to happen. It's taking me a lot longer than anticipated, but I will be having that up on my channel shortly. I can't wait for you guys to see part 2 of that. So yeah. Subscribe to Lost in the Reel. And D, I love you. I'm so happy you were on today, and I hope it happens again very soon.
Woo! We got the sexiest man on YouTube, Dan.
Hey, everybody. I'm Dan from the Excitement.
Yeah, baby.
So I haven't had any content on my channel lately, but I've been getting back into it, especially with like this being on Shooting the Shit again, and editing some skits and editing that Marvel Fatigue video that's on the Cinema Spot channel now. So I'm kind of getting back into it. So I might finish my Dominion one. I'll probably do like a tagline like 65 million years in the making because it's been. So yeah, so that's what I have on the horizon, and just we now have an Instagram page. I'm pretty sure we'll put it in the description. The Cinema Squad Instagram, official Cinema Squad Instagram account. Sorry, the laughing's distracting me. So I'm
sorry.
No, it's okay. Go watch Morbius. It's Morbin time.
Fucking dead.
Jeez.
You're getting me in a mood right now, man.
Ooh, John.
Man, get your mind out of the gutter. I meant that sexually.
Can you keep that mood for a couple more months?
Yes, baby.
Oh my.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Jonathan. I am a man of movies, and I have not been on YouTube for 5 years.
Forever.
I have a back catalog if you guys want to check it out. All links are in the description for every person you see on screen. But if you want to catch me recently, I am on Instagram, Man of Movies 96. That's Man of Movies 96, where I'm there all the time. So hit me up there. And yeah, I'm just busy being a dad and loving being a dad, I should say, right? Because I can be busy doing other things, but I love what I'm busy doing.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So let's end this with one of the best YouTubers in the game, y'all. We got the D, Bobby.
Hey everyone, this is Movieman, fellow cinephile, pop and commercial comfort, coming to you with reliable recaps, reviews, and reactions.
Yes.
All right. So, hey everyone. So basically, as far as my channel, I am just closing out my series recap of Bridgerton season 2. I've enjoyed it, but I'm ready to bring it to a close so I can, get back to movies and just kind of diversify and get deeper into the reviews. Just saw Marcel the Show with shoes on, hoping to do a review on that. Also, Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris. Hoping to do a very unique ranking with Jumanji soon. And also, if anyone is familiar, Anthony A. Perez, he's a really great YouTuber, very kind, very encouraging. Just and his commentary, his reviews are great. We started a collaboration series on Jaws. We did the first one, I want to say maybe like a month ago, and so we're about to do Jaws 2, and then shortly after we'll do Jaws 3 and Jaws 4, and that's what I have coming up. Feel free to check me out.
Check this guy out. I mean,
Check him out.
This guy. Wow. Let's go back to normal. Ladies and gentlemen, it has been a pleasure. It has been fun. It has been real. And it has been real fun. With that being said, guys, it is time to say goodbye. Till next week.
Till next week.
Till next
Subscribe
week,
to
guys.
us on Instagram.
Bye, guys.
See you later.
Peace.